Get started. All right, if we can also please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right, so this is the Zoning Board of Adjustment meeting on Tuesday, September 30th. The notice requirements of the law have been satisfied. Notices have been sent by certified mail to the Home News Tribune, and receipts are on file in the Township Clerk's office. We ask that anyone that has a cell phone to please silence it. All variances granted tonight will expire if the building permit, zoning permit, or occupancy permit is not applied for within 1 year of the granting of the variance. No new applications will begin after 10 o'clock, and the meeting will adjourn at 11 o'clock. Any application may be discussed at the next agenda meeting. Roll call, Kristen.
Mr. Almeida?
Here.
Mr. Goldenfarb? Mr. Paul Castro? Mr. Scaturo?
Here.
Ms. Millette?
Here.
Mr. Bacladata?
Here.
Ms. Musley?
Here.
Mr. Wright?
Here.
Mr. Hyman?
Here. Before we start with resolutions, I just prepared a statement, so please bear with me. So before we begin the hearing tonight on the quick check application, I would like to begin by respectfully clarifying for the board and the general public here tonight that the commercial use of this site has already been reviewed and formally approved through the appropriate zoning process on October 18th, 2022. The current purpose of this meeting tonight is to not revisit or debate the approved use, but rather to review and consider the proposed site plan to ensure it meets all applicable requirements and standards. I appreciate your time and attention to the details of the site plan. If you are here to address any questions related to the layout, the access, the design, or the compliance, but not the underlying use, which has already been established, you can do so. But we will not be discussing anything from back on October 18th. Thank you. All right, so before we get into resolutions, we have authorization to advertise for RFQs. So professional counsel services to provide for legal counsel and professional services to provide for engineering services. So we need to place a vote on that?
Yeah, well, actually, someone has to make a motion to accept those resolutions for the authorization for the RFQs for next year.
Okay, so if I could get a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Matt, thank you. I need a second.
I'll second.
Who's that? Thank you, Jonathan. Kristen?
Mr. Almeida?
Yes.
Mr. Scaturo?
Yes.
Ms. Millette?
Yes.
Mr. Bacladata?
Yes.
Ms. Musley?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Hyman?
Yes. All right, secondly, we have two memorializations. The first one was Sanjay Bardawaj on 17 Peppermill Hill Road. It was a setback variance to construct a new detached deck in the rear yard, which makes it accessory structure. In addition, the applicant proposed to legitimize a 10 by 15 foot shed, which encroaches both the rear and the side yard setbacks. There was also a second 17 by 10, 170 square foot deck that also encroaches in the rear setback. It was an R2 single family residential zone district. Can I get a motion to memorialize?
I'll make a motion to memorialize.
Thank you, Jonathan. Second? Second. Thank you, Joe. Kristen?
Mr. Almeida?
Yes.
Mr. Scaturo?
Yes.
Ms. Millette?
Yes.
Mr. Bacladata?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
All right, thank you. Second, we have Mr. Robert Semple, 245 Garner Road. This was a bulk variance to erect a 6-foot fence in the front yard setback along South Berkeley Place, along with an above-ground swimming pool. The property is a corner lot, so it was an R2 single-family residential zone district. I need a motion to approve that memorialization.
Make a motion to memorialize.
Thank you. Need a second?
Second.
Ralph, thank you. Kristen?
Mr. Almeida?
Yes.
Mr. Scaturo?
Yes.
Ms. Millette?
Yes.
Mr. Bacladata?
Yes.
Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Hyman?
Yes. All right, finally, we have a request to carry an application to October 21st, 2025, which will be the next meeting. This is Yvette Ford, 1281 Masoma Road is a bulk variance to install a 6-foot privacy fence in the front yard area of Axel Avenue. It's an R3 single-family residential zone.
Are there any other notice requirements?
No, well, first of all, I don't, Kristen, did they notice for tonight's meeting or not?
They did not notice the home news. They notified the 200-foot
All right, so they'll have to do, obviously, a renotice for the next meeting.
for the home news.
Yes.
Yeah. So if anybody here, is anybody here for Yvette Ford for 1281 Masoma? No? Okay, if anybody is listening on TV, that will be carried to October 21st. Do we need to make a motion or vote on that, or is that necessary?
Generally not, so it's just, we're just indicating on the record.
Okay.
It will be carried to the October 21st, 2025 meeting with further notice.
Excellent. All right, so finally, for new applications, the first application tonight is Nadia Lopez, 260 Church Lane. This is regarding Block 224, Lot 48.1. It's a bulk variance for setback of pool equipment, which was installed 9 feet from the rear property line, whereas 15 feet is required. The size variance for a 354 square foot pool house that was constructed, whereas no accessory structures to exceed 240 square feet in the area in a 12-foot high. So it's an R2 residential zone district. Hi, there you are.
Here I
Hey,
am.
How are you?
I'm good. Jim Stahl, S-T-A-H-L. The firm is Boris Golden Foley, Vignola Hyman Stahl, North Brunswick, New Jersey. And I'm here representing Ms. Lopez. I try not to speak too long because I know you have probably a more lengthy application following. So I just want to set forth 3 things. I did speak with Mr. Profaci out in the hall because there was another issue I had to resolve with him. Anyway, and I have my one witness. Here's what goes on, and I'm not testifying, I'm representing as to what I believe happened, and my clients will testify. He is, my client is I don't want to call him a mason. He's in the masonry business. He builds a beautiful house, you'll see it. But he makes a mistake. No doubt about it. No blaming anyone but himself. He starts to build a pool house in the back. You'll see where it is. It ends up being 115 feet more than it should have been by permit. Mr. Profaci issues, or Mr. Paul issues a violation. He then files an application for a new permit. By then it's too late. He's got to come before you and get an approval for the excessive square feet. We take the position, there are some residents here who are going to object, I believe. We don't think that this size really affects anything, and had he applied properly, would have been entitled to it. But that's going to be your decision. That's number 1. Number 2, there's pool equipment. The ordinance requires that all pool equipment be 15 feet away from the property line. This pool equipment is 9 feet. It was installed by a pool installer. I don't know whether he or she obtained a permit. It is too close. The owners, I told the owner that it's your responsibility. We're not going to start pointing at pool contractors or plumbers. Again, we take the position as to that. There's a double fence in the back. You'll see the picture. It's our position. It really does not affect, hopefully it does not affect anyone, and we don't believe it does. And they'll indicate to you what's going on there. And you'll see the pictures. There are several houses in the back. The last one was the reason I was in the hall with Mr. Profaci. There are 2 stone piers, we'll call them piers, and you'll see the picture. One has the mailbox and the other one is on the other side. There may be a site triangle issue. It was not part of the ordinance, so Mr. Sachs, I'm just going to ask to amend the application to include any issues with regard to that. Paving within 3 feet of the neighbor's driveway was a violation. We thought we had it fixed, but Mr. Profaci, within his expertise, says, no, I think you're short by some distance, so we're going to have to just extend that area of no disturbance to the property line of the neighbor to make sure it's 3 feet. We're also going to ask the board to consider that the pier, I call it a pier, and I'll show it to you when we call my witness, 36 inches. If you and Mr. Profaci are agreeable, and I'm not suggesting Mr. Profaci controls the board, but he's your professional. He and that young fellow there who's an engineer, Mr. Carley. We'll show you what that is and explain. So that's really the picture. There's three issues. We thought we addressed a third, so I didn't even have to discuss it. But Profaci is a little too thorough, and he says, Stoll, you didn't do it. You're still missing one, so that's why we're here. And that's why I was out in the hall talking to him. All right, let's go. I know that my friend set up the table, but it's easier for me to sit here. If I get too comfortable, I'll have to watch Mr. Szymanowicz at work.
Fine. Who's going to be?
Also, I assume we're all good on the publication and service of notice of process.
Yes.
And the board has jurisdiction.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr.
Mr.
Sachs.
Stoll, who's going to be testifying? Both of them, or
On just one.
who's that going to be?
Why don't you just have a...
This is the lucky one.
Yeah, that's right. She gives him support. Over here, you. Raise your right hand.
Please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? Yes. All right, please state your name, spelling your last name, address for the record.
If you could talk into
John
the mic.
Andino Silva. That was 260 Church.
Okay, go slower. Relax.
Okay. My name is John Andino. Own the property at 260 Church Lane, North Brunswick, New Jersey, 08902.
And you own that property with your wife, is that correct?
That's correct.
Nadia, the boss of the family. Now, let me ask you a question.
By the way, let me get the name for the record, because I see the applicant is Nadia Lopez, who I'm assuming is seated. Give me your name again, sir.
John Andino.
Spell that for me.
Spell the last name.
A-N-D-I-N-O.
I'm sorry, what was that?
A-N-D-I-N-O.
A-N-D-I-N-R.
Correct.
I-N-O? I-N-O or?
N-O.
Oh,
Andi.
N-O?
I-N-O.
Andino. A-N-D-I-N-O.
Adino. And Lopez?
My wife is last.
No, what's your last name?
Andino, that's my last
Adino is your last name.
Yeah.
What's your first name?
John.
John. Okay, thank you, John. Appreciate it. Okay.
We have this. Just do the best you can, all right?
No problem.
All right. So you own the property with your wife, is that correct?
That is correct.
Did there come a time that you applied for a permit to put a pool house? Let me give you this first, Mr. Sachs. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 photos. If we could get these marked, somebody from you.
I'll mark them.
And circulate them, and then I'll refer to them when we go. Mr. Sachs, I continue on your marking those?
Yes.
All right, Mr. Andino. You built a pool house, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And when you built the pool house, did you get a permit?
In the beginning, yes.
And that permit maxed out at approximately 240 feet, which is the maximum square footage of a pool house within the township, is that correct?
That is correct.
And then you started to build a pool house, is that correct?
That is correct.
That pool house ended up being about 115 feet more than the 240, is that correct?
Yes.
Plus or minus?
That's correct.
And that's a mistake, isn't it?
That is a mistake.
And you know you made a mistake.
Yes. I know I make a mistake, building a little more extra footage and that.
And how did that happen, briefly?
I look at the small, the 219 square feet, I look at too small. I say, make a little more bigger. I don't realize they have all this kind of problem.
And
Extra 100 feet more.
you made a mistake,
Correct, yes.
all right? And no one's to blame but you, right?
Yes.
Okay. And after you started to build it, it ended up being bigger.
Correct.
And did Mr. Profaci or Mr. Paun, P-A-U-N, building inspector, eventually give you a summons notice to stop with regard to that building?
Yes,
And that's because it was in excess of the ordinance, is that correct?
that is correct.
And you were going to put another permit in to fix it, but Mr. Profaci and Mr. Paun, by the way, it's P-R-O-F-A-C-I, and by the time you did that, you were told you couldn't get a permit because it violated the bulk standards, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And then I'm here, you hired me for better or for worse, and we're here tonight, is that correct?
That is correct.
And you're asking the board to accept your mistake so you don't have to tear down the front of the pool house or the back and conform, is that correct?
That is correct.
Now, where the house is, do you have a fence? And we'll show the pictures after Mr. Sachs has marked it. Is there a fence?
That is fence, all right.
How high is the fence?
6 feet.
And is there another fence behind that fence which belongs to your neighbors in the rear?
That is a 6 feet fence too.
And is there any fences on,
Sir, can you speak into the microphone?
Gotcha.
I'm sorry, if I go too fast, my,
Oh, you can hear me.
all right, there's a fence in the back, a second fence, correct?
There is a second fence in the back.
How about as you're looking at your house, are there any second fences on the right or the left?
On the right side.
And is there a tree line that we're going to see in the pictures, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
And from your information, from your living there, do you find, and I know it's a personal thing, that there's any excessive noise or disturbance that's caused by this pool house being 115 feet larger than it was permitted?
No.
Do you have any children?
I have a children.
How many?
I have one children living with me in the house.
Okay. How old?
It's 13 years.
Okay. So you're asking for the board to grant you relief for this floor area, is that correct?
Correct.
Now let's go to the pool equipment. The pool equipment, who put the pool equipment in?
There's a company, pool company.
And did you hire the pool company,
Yes.
and you pay the pool company?
I pay the pool company.
And were there any permits, if you know?
They have a permits, electric and plumbing. They have all the kind of permits.
And did they apply for those permits?
They apply for the permits and they approve the township, they approve the permits.
But you don't know what that pool contractor submitted to the township, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
You don't know whether he complied with the requirements of the township for the 15 feet, do you?
Yes.
Okay, you don't?
No.
Okay.
No.
And if in fact, and we have no reason to disbelieve Mr. Profaci or Mr. Pawn, it's roughly 6 feet in violation of the ordinance, is that correct?
That's correct.
And the same double, I call it a double fence, it's your fence, your neighbor's fence in the back, is that correct?
That is correct, yeah.
And the pool, it's a pool heater, is that correct?
There's a pool here.
And again, for that unit, do you find, in a personal thing in your opinion, that there's any excessive noise, fumes, smoke, or anything from that pool heater that you see affects any of your neighbors in the rear?
No.
All right, so that's the pool equipment, is
That's
that
a,
correct?
that's a pool
And
agreement.
let me get back, if you are required, and it's your fault, so there's responsibility here. The only one who doesn't have any is me, but that's only lucky this time. So if you were required to conform the pool house and move the pool equipment, it would be very disruptive of what I'm going to show the board in those photos that Mr. Sachs has. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
All right, now let's get to the, I call them piers. There are two block piers on either side of the driveway, is that correct?
That is in the front of the house, yes.
And as you look at the house, your driveway is in the middle of the two piers, is that correct?
That is correct, yes.
The pier on the right contains your mailbox, is that correct?
Yes, that is correct.
And the pier on the left is within, we think, we have to just confirm this with Mr. Profaci, subsequent to this meeting, if we are granted approval, is too close to your neighbor's sidewalk, driveway, is that correct?
That is correct.
And it's too high, even though you were not violated for it. I explained to you what a sight triangle is, and that it would appear from the common eye that your neighbor coming out of that driveway may not be able to see clearly vehicles coming from their left. Is that correct?
That is correct. That's on the
And Mr.
pictures.
Profaci suggested and asked, you didn't ask, he said that if you want to do the right thing, you have to ask the board to drop the height, we hope, to the 36 inches down, and we would do that for both piers, even though there's only one affecting it. And number two, you're going to have to just make sure there's no pavement or impervious surface between your property and the property line of your neighbor. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And you agreed to do that?
I agree.
And you agree that if you have to take out the pier, that may create a issue with the site triangle, you would take that out completely, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
But you'd like to bring it at least 36 inches if Mr. Carley or Mr. Profaci think that's okay, is that right?
That's right.
And, Mr. Sachs, do you have photos?
Yeah, the photos I've been
can pass
circulating,
around.
and just so the record, there's a series of 5 photos, and maybe when everyone's done, they can pass it back to me, and then,
Yeah, I'm going to ID them quickly and
right, that's
move them
fine.
right up there.
okay.
Because I didn't get an evil eye yet from the board chair yet, so I'm doing okay.
You're good.
Actually, I think watch out for Carly and Pafanchi.
Just while the board is looking at the photo, just a couple questions.
Yeah, do you have a couple points?
A couple observations for the board that reviews the photos relative to the piers that the applicant has agreed to remove. The first point is those piers at the driveway are in the public right-of-way, so they ought not be in the public right-of-way. That's the one thing.
They will not, or they will
No,
be?
they are.
They are?
They are
Are they?
present.
Okay.
And so the commitment to remove them is well placed. And when you take a look at this photo, I'm assuming that that little orange line connotes a water line underneath it. You ought not put structures over top of a water line that's owned by a public entity, because if the water line breaks, those things got to go anyway. So Mr. Stahl and the applicant's commitment to remove those piers is pretty sound.
Would you like them both removed? Or is it the one?
Are they both in the
Like them
right-of-way?
both, they're both in the right-of-way, they're both over the water line. If you can bring them back onto your property, they wouldn't block the right-of-way, they wouldn't be over the water line.
And they probably wouldn't impose a site triangle issue as well. So,
Best of all possible worlds.
How far back would,
Mr. Carly, the one with the mailbox is not, I don't think, I'll certainly agree with you that it's not in the site triangle, and I don't know how a mailman, depending on the length of his arm, is going to be able to deliver the truck.
That's a good point. Yeah, that's a good point. Work it out with the post office. I'm serious. The post office is going to be delivering the mail. All right, well, yeah, I would just, and I'm speaking on behalf of administration, which I'm out of bounds. I would just as soon see structures outside of the right-of-way.
I agree.
And certainly not over top of water lines. I understand the need to receive your mail, but,
yeah, they're both.
yeah.
All right, so
Yeah, you're on the pavement, the water line's here, the water line's in the right-of-way.
we can solve that issue. So I think the suggestion is remove both of these. You have to, because they're in the right-of-way. In terms of the mailman making a mail delivery, he may have to get out of his vehicle and just walk it in wherever the mailbox goes. Go ahead, sure.
Oh, is that,
A, it looks like A5, Mr. Dino, that's a picture of the pool house in the back and the pool equipment, is that correct?
Yes, correct.
And also there are two houses in the back, those are your closest neighbors, is that correct?
There is a closer now.
And that's the fence that's close, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct.
And you took these pictures, is that correct?
Yeah, I'm taking this picture.
This is A5? Okay.
You can see Mr. Saxon's scratch.
And the board has seen these, correct? Okay. Is there any other questions regarding these? Okay.
Go ahead, Jim. Yep.
And I think it's A2, that's another picture, is that correct?
There's another picture, yeah. There's a neighbor over there.
That's okay, thanks.
And now here is the A3, again, this is, well, I don't editorialize, pretty darn looking, nice backyard. And that's just showing everything, is that correct?
This one they show a bit more.
Oh, you want this one, A4?
Yes.
Okay.
You want to show this one?
And A1, that's the other pier with the mailbox, is that correct?
Yeah, there is a mailbox up there.
And you understand that if your mailboxes are in the right of way, and we get this often, you know, with homeowners, you have to move it out of the right of way. Either that or get an easement from the township, but you're still within the site triangle. So you would move those two piers back,
Okay.
all right? If that,
Yeah, and let me make a suggestion. Move them back and build them in conformity with the ordinance. Make sure the height is,
I'm sorry, Larry?
make sure that they are built in
Conformed.
conformity with the ordinance.
Well, I think it's not the height issue, according to Mr. Faci.
Yeah, he was going, Sally, you
Yeah,
have something to say?
I'm concerned just with the pillar that's blocking the neighbor's view when she's pulling out of her driveway. There's mailboxes in the public right-of-way all over town, and I don't want to open up a can of worms here.
Okay.
I don't think the mailbox is blocking the neighbor's vision. I think it's that first pillar. And then if there's a third pillar on the other side, they should take that one down too if it's over the water line.
So I'm only seeing this. So
Yeah.
are there other pillars?
Yeah, there's a total of three pillars, correct?
Is it 3 pillars?
Yeah, there's 3 pillars.
Okay.
Further down or further to the north.
So the picture in A1, that's not your concern? This one is not your concern?
So you're okay with that staying, Sal? All right.
All right. So we're really then talking about 2 pillars, not, is that correct? I don't want
All
to,
right, so just to summarize, I don't think our staff has a problem with the mailbox staying where it is, but the other 2 pillars have to be removed.
There's only 2, not 3.
The third pillar is, here's looking at the aerial that Google has, that opposite pole, some distance away from the pillar of consequence, which is between number 250 and 220. And that pillar attaches along, is there like a little tow fence there, Sal?
what you got?
I'm thinking that's, yeah, so that's opposite Polk. That whole line, in the interest of making sure that the good people at number 250 Church Lane have sight distance, the first pillar should go bye-bye. That second pillar and the third pillar remain over the water line. Now, that's not a great arrangement, but if the board acts favorably on the application, it may, subject to the acquiescence of Mr. Stahl and his client, condition that upon the applicant acknowledging that if the municipality or the municipalities assigns Veolia have to fiddle with that water line, then the removal and replacement of that fence, the pillars, will come at his expense.
I'm sorry. So we're talking 2 pillars in the front, one to the left and one to the right. You don't have 3 pillars. You don't have a problem with we'll call it the mailbox pillar. That's fine. The other one
I'm sorry.
it's okay.
And what we'll do is have Mrs. Lopez or Mr. Andino sign what Charlie was describing is called a waiver.
Okay.
So whereas the water company had to access that water pipe, they would remove that mailbox at their own expense.
So just so I understand, the one that we're looking to change in Exhibit A6 is the one opposite the mailbox pillar. Is that correct?
It's the one in the foreground, yes.
Yeah. So we clear it.
Whatever the board decides.
Let me clarify. I think I have it. All right. There are 3 pillars. The only pillars that we are requesting to be removed are the 2 pillars that don't contain the mailbox.
Mailbox.
Correct.
All right. And that the mailbox pillar can remain. However,
The waiver.
your client's going to have to sign a waiver stating that they assume the responsibility or any risk if, in fact, the municipality has to access that water line and remove that pillar.
Because the water line is under the mailbox pillar.
Yes.
Correct.
Understood.
Okay, that's it.
He says it so well.
It took me a couple times to figure it out.
But the other pillar, we're going to move back.
Well, yes, you can certainly move them back as long as they're out of the right-of-way if you choose to do that, and they must be at the proper height. 36 inches, right? Yeah,
Might look
all right.
strange.
Sal, you said 36 inches. Does that work, or you want it less? Height?
3 feet is the number.
I mean, moving them back may look a little odd, too.
Yes. we're gonna make
I
them
probably
both
would
the same.
eliminate the pillars.
Yeah, I
don't
would
think you
probably
need
get
them.
rid of them. That's going to look a little
Right.
All
strange.
right. One last question about the pool house to Mr. Andino. What do you keep inside that pool house?
Just furniture for the pool.
I'm sorry, what was that?
Just the furniture.
Furniture?
Furniture for the pool? All right. Is there any electric in there?
There's a couple outlets and the light, and
Okay.
electric panel for the pool equipment.
And some pool equipment?
Yes,
Okay.
And who installed that? The electrician?
the electricians. Yes.
Okay.
And no one lives in there, no one uses it to residents.
You would agree to a condition that that pool house, if this board acts favorably, could not be used for any residential purposes?
So hard to see.
Yes?
Yes.
No one can live there?
No,
Okay.
not even
Yeah,
knowing.
I highlighted them.
Okay, fine.
That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
So anybody from the board have questions for this witness?
So, has construction signed off on the pool house as it exists?
As construction, no, yes, they did.
Okay.
They've been very cooperative with construction. The only thing holding them up is they have an expired temporary CO, and the home sale certificate is open because of the variances for the pool filter.
Okay.
And just another note, the area behind the pool filter, it's wooded.
Okay.
So that helps their cause.
And so the electrician who installed it was a certified, licensed?
They've been very cooperative with
Okay.
construction. I mean, they have outstanding fines and everything, but they've gotten permits for everything.
Mr. Stoll, I think your client testified that the pool equipment that is inside that setback area is the heater?
Heater
The heater only,
and some hoses.
not the filter, right? Filter's in the pool house?
Is the filter there or just a heater?
Oh, the filter there too.
Say it again? The filter?
What is inside?
The filter. Is a filter,
What is the way pool mess here?
so there's a heater and a filter?
The here and the filter.
All right. Okay.
Any other questions?
I have one more for the applicant. The house that is behind your property, so their address is probably on, I think, on Forest, so your backyard neighbor. They have a shed in their backyard as well?
No.
No? Okay. The survey shows a frame shed in your backyard neighbor's yard that is nearly on the property line. Are you aware of a shed behind your property,
Behind the fence.
Open, no.
beyond the fence?
There are pictures, one of the exhibit pictures shows the backyard too. I don't know if there's, Larry, do you have that? in your-
Shed.
Yeah, they show this over here in that corner for this
Oh,
house. There's nothing in the back.
So there's maybe a shed on the other property?
It's on the other side.
Yeah, there is a shed on the other property?
Yes.
Okay. And you've never had any issues with that shed being?
Nope.
Okay. Thank you.
all right, thank you.
Move over. Have a seat.
You have another witness, or Mr. Stahl?
Yes, sir.
Anybody else?
No.
Okay.
I was going to borrow some of Mr. Shermanowitz's, but
All right, so we're going to take this time to open it up to the public. If
Make a
you are,
motion to open. for
yeah, thank you.
comment.
Can I get a second for that?
I'll second it.
Thank you. If you are here regarding this application, if you could please step up to the podium, introduce yourself. You'll have to be sworn in.
Ma'am, please raise your right hand, I'll swear you in. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, please state your name, spelling your last name and address for the record.
My name is Debbie Camlett. I live at 250 Church Lane in North Brunswick, New Jersey. Last name is spelled C-A-M-L-E-T.
L-E-T?
L-E-T, yes.
Thank you, okay. Thank you.
Okay. I'm here to voice my concern regarding to this variance for the property next door to me. I have been living through this construction phase for about close to 5 years, so it's been a challenge to now. When it first began, the gentleman, Mr. Andino, approached us and did tell us that he was a general contractor and that he would be in charge of building this home and that he knew all the processes that were required. So he filed his paperwork and everything that was necessary to do. So with that being said, I find it very difficult that he continued to build the pool house and put the filter in and do all of that and not pay attention to the fact that his plans did not meet that, because he expressed, again, that he had submitted all the plans and he was doing it himself. The issue, but that also was brought up by the attorney, is that there is a rider at the back of the variance that indicates that it was due to a miscommunication on the part of the owner with the township. And I have a little bit of a difficulty with that because there was a lot of communication between ourselves and the property owner because of a number of issues that had occurred. It had a letter which he sent to me, is certified.
Objection. I didn't bring it up, but now I will. There's hard feelings between these two neighbors.
Mr. Stahl,
But
that's all right.
this letter was back 8 years ago.
All right, well, first of all, it might be hearsay, all right? But I'll let the witness speak, but it probably is hearsay, but go ahead, it's fine.
I have a letter that was sent to me certified by Mr. Andino and Nadia Lopez indicating issues that they were saying that I have done against them personally because of situations that occurred with the property, such as there was a soil issue that was in my property. It was running across the front. I have pictures of that to show that that was made aware of at the township, and they took care of that. It also, at one point, he implies that because of his nationality, being Latino, that I was being racist and going after him for that purpose, which I took offense to because I don't believe that is at all the issue here. It was an issue of I am trying to protect my property and protect the fact that we live in a community and that we all have to obey laws to be able to survive within the constraints of the community. He mentions that in that letter that it will only be beneficial to this neighborhood and increase the value of others' houses in the area, including ours. That was also written in that letter. But yet he continued to do things that were not in accordance to code, and I know because there was a lot of back and forth with the town. I have pictures also with going up in the construction of this house with the set pillars that were brought up. And I can show you pictures of what I need to do to get out of my driveway safely. I am now parked literally my front end, and I'll be happy to show you the pictures of the front end of my car, whether I go forward or I go back, how far I am into the shoulder of the road. I worked for the state of New Jersey, so I know, and I worked for right-of-way, so I know what the rules are, and you cannot use the shoulder as an access point to get onto the road. That is supposed to be for emergency vehicles or for passing in the case of a car that you need to avoid not hitting the back. And because of that, if I happen to be there at the time that the car is rising over the hill from Church Lane coming down and I should get hit, I will probably be in trouble for that and not the person that hit me. So with that, I really feel that he has known these things have been going on and has chosen to avoid them. This has been going on for some time, and that the only reason he is now standing in front of you asking you for a variance is because he wants to sell his home and he has a contingent property for sale. And I find that offensive in the sense that if you're now going to grant him a variance when he full well know that he had done wrong and wasn't adhering to the plans that he submitted, that he should be allowed to have that variance, because then it kind of leads me to believe that we can kind of do whatever we would like in the township, and then at the end we play that we miscommunicated or we didn't have the knowledge behind it, and we didn't. We also applied for things in our own home, which was a pool. We put an above-ground pool. We read the ordinances. We figured out what we could do. We have a filter, too, and it's supposed to be 15 feet off the property line. And we don't really like to look at our filter because when I'm sitting on my patio, I really don't like to look at it. But we adhered to it and did not put it on the opposite side of the pool, which would have looked nicer, but that would not have been within the zoning. So I'm asking you to really consider the fact that there has been a long history, which I'm sure you can deal with the township, that indicates that things were not done correctly, and now this is the last minute, wants to sell, and now is making it look as if he did not understand that this was going on.
Thank you.
Like I said, if you want the pictures, I'll be happy to give you the pictures so you can see what we were dealing with.
That's up to you, if you'd like to submit them.
Absolutely.
I do have two questions for you, ma'am.
Yes.
While you're looking. The first question I have is you're speaking more about where your car is and the front pillars that we discussed.
Right.
Do you, outside of him not getting the permits, do you have objections to the aesthetics of the shed or what it looks like from your backyard?
Honestly, I can't tell you I see the shed, only the roof from my yard, because his fence is quite tall, so I don't see that.
Okay.
That's not an issue. My issue is the fact that a variance will be granted for someone who has obviously been doing the wrong thing all along, and now at the end, because he needs to get out, wants us to, as a town, to say, oh, it's okay.
Right, I understand that. And then secondly, how do you know that he's planning on moving? Was that expressed
Because the
somewhere?
house, well, no, because we know the house was up for sale, because all you have to do is Google the property, and we saw that it was for sale. There was a lot of movement one day, and then when you look at the realtor site, it says it's contingent.
So it's currently up for sale now?
It was as of the last time we had looked.
Okay. Does anybody else have any questions?
I just have one question. If I'm looking at the survey, are you to the house, are you to the house closer to Rustic Drive or closer to Farrington Lake?
I'm closer to Farrington Lake.
Okay, so you're right next.
So our driveways are
Going
basically
towards
touching
Farrington.
each other,
Okay,
yes.
Thank you.
So I
So
can show
your
you.
home is this picture with your pool, is that correct? Is that your pool?
Yep, that's good. So these are, these are pillars, and these are the pictures of my car both going, if I went back out or if I went head on to show you how far I need to go. And my children drive a much smaller car, so you can imagine my fear as they pull out because I'm in the truck.
Mr. Carly, you have any question? I see, did you have a question?
Mr. Stahl, would you like to see these photographs? Jim? No? Okay, all right. Just so the record is clear, I'm going to mark these, just like I've marked the applicants A1 through 6.
B.
I'll mark these O1 through 5, which are a series of 5 photographs, one showing the pillar in question, one showing a car on the shoulder, another one showing the car on the shoulder, the fourth one showing the car on the shoulder, and the fifth one showing the car on the shoulder.
Okay,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Carly?
I hate to be an annoyance, but I received this package when the board did this evening, so I'm just looking through it. I'd like to ask a couple of questions through Mr. Stahl. Mr. Stahl, Church Lane is a county road, right, 694. So ultimately, jurisdiction of the right-of-way would be under the county's jurisdiction. The curb, which looks like it's new in front of the property, did the county put that in, or did the applicant put that in with a county road opening permit? I don't know. It's a question.
It's county.
Yep. County Road 694. Yeah, and it appears to me, I don't know, because I am familiar with the file for all of 20 to 30 minutes, that the curb in front of number 620 is new, which is fine. The county may have put it in, the county may not have, but if the applicant put it in, I encourage them to get a road opening permit from the county, just as a jurisdictional matter. If elements are being put into the county roadway, all understood, but it's a county road. So I'm just suggesting you get the county's permission to do that, because that's not a municipal road. It's a county road. And so to make improvements within the county right-of-way, it's a given that you're going to need the county's permission. We'll agree on that, right? And so you have a piece of curb along the frontage, which appears to be set back. And it's shown on the survey, but the survey is teeny tiny from the edge of the pavement to the concrete curb. From edge of pavement to concrete curb along the frontage on Church Lane, you have a grass area that's probably, I don't know, 6 to 8 feet. I don't know. Ultimately, that'll be paved. I don't know by whom, whether it's by your client or by the county. But any activity in the county right-of-way, I'm suggesting you got to get a county road opening permit because they're in charge out there. That's all. And that's something we both know. Yeah, please do.
If you want to come up to the microphone, sir.
I hear the curb in the street. That's the county the owner. There's not no Brunswick Township. I have a permit for that one. I have inspections, and I have paid for 400 something for the permits. I have all the paperwork for the county, for inspections and everything for the curb.
Hallelujah. That's good news. Thank you.
I didn't hear a word he said.
Me neither.
Said he had the county permits, and he paid a significant amount of money to acquire the county permits.
So you paid for a county permit.
Pay for the permit, pay for the inspections. The county coming from freehold office. They're coming to inspect them. All right.
I'm just curious, why did you put a new curb in?
They asking me, the county, when they coming to check the soil, they coming to check everything. I said, you guys put the permit because they see the survey. I said, yes. So, and after that, they require me permits for this,
Was there a curb there before?
for the curb.
I'm sorry?
For the curb in the street
Was there a curb there?
and front.
Previously, was there one?
What was there before?
No, it's
Okay.
nothing.
And so the county said to you, put in a curb?
Yes.
And you did.
Okay, that makes sense.
And so I say,
All right,
that is the way things should be arranged.
right, okay.
Sir, I have one question for you. Do you have your house up for sale?
I'll try it. I'll try to sell the house, yes.
Yes,
Yes,
you do.
yes.
Okay, is it currently up for sale right now?
I have some offers for the house. Yes, I want to.
You have the permit now, or is it at home? Where is the permit?
There's a home.
I'll provide it to Mr. Sachs within the next 48 hours. If he doesn't have it, I'll get a copy.
Okay,
I'll do an Oprah, or I'll call down to traffic.
okay. Any other questions for,
And how long have you lived in that property? Have you lived there or?
How long I live in there?
Yeah,
4 years.
4 years?
Yeah, 4 years.
Okay.
were you living there during construction?
No.
You weren't? Okay.
I'm sorry?
Were you living there during the construction?
No.
No, okay. Anybody else?
By the way, did we close the public? I don't know if we...
No, not yet. I was just, okay, thank you, sir. Is there anybody else here for this? Yes, ma'am, come on up. If you could just state your name, raise your right hand to be sworn in.
My name is Laura Gibbons, and my backyard
Well,
butts
I
against,
gotta
We
swear
just
you
need
in,
to
ma'am.
swear you in. If you could
Give me
raise your
the-
right hand.
Give me the spelling of your last name.
my last name is Gibbons, Gibbons.
Okay. Ms. Gibbons, you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, thank you.
Okay, my yard butts against his yard. He built the Taj Mahal in my backyard, and my property value has gone down. He did everything without permits, without rules, without anything, and I just don't understand how he can get away with it. But I had to knock a wall down in my house, and I had to get a permit and pay, like, whatever. And he wants to be forgiven because he wants to sell his house. My property's gone down. He's got lights in his backyard that shine on my neighbor, on my bedroom. It looks like a disco at night when he puts all his lights on. He has no respect for, like, this neighborhood. My backyard's an eyesore. I have drainage problems now because he put all this concrete. There's no grass, there's no, like, anything, so everything drains on my property. He put this ugly sky-high fence that our other neighbor, Stephanie over there, complained about too. He just didn't follow any rules, and we're just supposed to say, okay? Tell me how that's fair, because technically you can get away with whatever you want in North Brunswick. No, I've abided by the rules, so did my neighbors. He did not. And I don't know, how do we fix this? You guys want this all fixed? Our neighbors want it all cleaned up? I have a perfect solution. Give me that pool in the backyard, I'll fix the house thing, and we can make it look so much nicer back there than what...
Now, I don't mean to interrupt you, but I think right now the three things that are in front of the board Or the pool house?
Is the pool house, right, and I could
The
fix that.
pillars.
But he just, everything, look at the property. I mean, if you look out my backyard, it's a shit show. It really is. And how is he able to get away with it? And I called the town several times to come look at it, and nothing was done. So please tell me why he's allowed to get away with it, but anybody else can't?
So
And I spoke to this gentleman the other day, too, so I don't know if that's a conflict of interest, but
now, I'm looking at A4, and I'm just trying to ascertain where your property is. Is it on the side or is it directly behind?
directly behind.
So are these your trees or are they his trees? If you want to come up and take a look.
While she's coming up, I did have a conversation with her today.
No.
My,
Oh, this is you.
Dallas
Oh.
Engineering is in the same building as I am. Referred her to contact me. We did have a conversation. I said I cannot be involved because I represent Lopez. And then she brought up the conversation, which I was not going to. Her simple solution is she wanted to subdivide the pool off so she could have that lot. Now, come on. These people go two rules. They weren't unlawful. You've admitted.
What?
Well, all right.
Can I talk?
Yeah.
Sure,
Interrupt
sorry,
you.
sorry.
A, the pool equipment. 6 feet off, you've had worse. 2, the building is too big, you got the permit. Those are the two
I agree.
horrendous, outrageous, egregious violations. The pier and the other items, nobody even brought it up until Mr. Profaci, in his professional opinion, said, you know, it's not part of it, but I think it's got to go. We said, go.
Well, 2 of the piers are being removed, all right? If he ever decides to rebuild them, that's his prerogative. I do agree. The variance relief that the applicant is seeking is a variance for the size of the accessory structure, which is 114 square feet in excess of what it should be under the code. And secondly, a side yard setback for pool equipment,
Right.
which should be 15 feet under the ordinance, and you're seeking relief because it's
9 feet.
All right.
Ma'am, so you understand there's, outside of that, this board is only hearing of those things. I understand your concern, but
But
just so
can I
you're,
ask one question? Why was he allowed to oversize everything, like between his concrete that's overwhelming in my backyard, and I'm suffering for that because of the drainage issue? So, like, what gets done about that?
I mean, I don't know if anybody on this board could answer. I would hate to push back and have you speak to community development, but Mr. Profaci or somebody else within the township could address your concerns in regards to that. But I
No,
don't think
but I
anybody on
mean-
this board can answer that question right now. If everything was done to code.
But why was he allowed to do that
Oh, no,
and
no.
nothing was done?
He's not allowed. He did it.
He did it,
He's
you're right.
now seeking relief from this board, which is the purview of what this board does. There are many instances where people do things without permits.
But there's nothing, like, you're
I
talking
can't
about...
I can't punish him, I can't fine him, all right? The only thing that this board has the authority to do is either grant the relief or deny the relief, all right? If the board grants the relief, then these structures are going to remain. If the board denies the relief, then they're going to get removed. We live in a state where people do things all the time without permits. It's the norm. It's the exception, by the way, where people do it the right way. Most people don't do it the right way, unfortunately, in this state. So, unfortunately, we have a lot of cases similar to this where you seek mercy of the board. It's a mea culpa, and I think that's what Mr. Stahl indicated at the beginning. All right. However, again, this applicant is a Mason and probably should know better. Okay.
He definitely should have known better.
Should
He's
know
a
better,
contractor.
right?
He
Correct.
should have known better.
All right. If he's looking to sell his house, hopefully you'll have a different neighbor in the future, and hopefully you'll get off on the right foot. All right. But anyway, hopefully I've answered your question.
Does anybody else have any questions for this witness?
Yeah, I just have one question. So as far as these 3 variances,
what's the level of remediation that you are proposing on your own before
Well,
we?
Ralph, but just before,
Sorry.
before that, do you have any questions for her?
No, not for you.
Okay. Anybody else for her? Thank you, ma'am. Before we do that, I'm just going to see if anybody else from the public, and then we can just go back. Is there anybody else from the public that would like to speak? All right, can I get a motion to close the public portion?
Motion to close?
Thank you. Can I get a second? Thank you. All right, Rao, did you have one more, did you have a question for
Just one
Mr.
question.
Stahl or
I'm sorry?
the applicant? Who did you have a
To
question?
the
for?
applicant.
Okay, sir, if you can step back up.
So of these three variances that you have requesting the relief from, so what are the remediation plans you can propose on your own on these? To what extent can you go to remediate some of these violations?
Well, the only remediation would be removal.
The removal.
Removal of these three pillars, and regarding the pool equipment?
Well, the pool equipment would have to be relocated. to
Okay,
within
so-
15 feet, outside the 15-foot setback line. I'm not sure that's an easy task necessarily.
But I also want to hear from the applicant, like, what are the,
I don't think that's a question he can really answer.
Okay.
If I may,
Yeah.
and I don't usually sum up, this is not a summation, as Mr. Sachs knows. I listened to two people, there's a neighborhood issue, but I didn't hear, and we've closed a public session, I did not hear any objections to the look of what this horrible, it's like that, I don't want to be sarcastic, I didn't hear any objections to the view, to what the building looks like that you saw yourselves. I didn't see any complaint about noise from the pump or the heater. All I heard, the same thing that you did, were issues, neighborhood issues. And Mr. Sachs and I have been involved in those in the private sector, trying to make peace between two neighbors. It happens more often than it should. We should all be at peace, especially with our neighbors, and not have fights, but we can all tell stories. But I didn't hear anything as to why, with respect to this board, the relief should not be granted. That's all.
Thank you. All right, before we discuss, I'll ask one more time. Does anybody have any other questions? All right, so,
Well, let me, before you take
Sure.
a motion on it, so the relief that's being sought is accessory structure size. It's limited to 240 square feet. The pool house is 354 square feet. And also the location of the pump or filtration system shall be located not less than 15 feet from any side or property line. This pool equipment is 9 feet. And then the last variance would be to permit the mailbox to remain. It's limited to a height of 36 inches, and I believe this is in excess of 5 feet, maybe?
It's exactly 5.
5 feet, okay. And also with the understanding that if the board does grant the variance relief for that pillar, the applicant would have to sign a waiver or an acknowledgement that because of the location of the water line, if the municipality needs to access that water line, they could potentially take a sledgehammer to that mailbox and remove it.
correct.
Okay.
I'm sorry?
I see A1.
Yeah. We've already made the decision that the other two pillars have to come down.
Yes, and the other
no
two
matter
pillars are
what.
coming out.
But I'm taking that. Because it'll look stupid with one side. That's a good point.
Does anybody over there want to see pictures? Do you have any,
It's the total,
you good with everything?
Not the height.
Kylie, you good? Go.
like, this shouldn't be here, it's probably just that,
Okay, that takes.
one or the other.
While we're looking at, Sal, when you went back there, I mean, it looks like the pictures, it's a nice property, it's clean. Did you see anything that was more of a concern to you outside of just what we talked about?
No, they actually removed some of the impervious coverage like we asked them in the backyard. They actually went back there with jackhammers and made the pavers the proper distance off the property line.
Okay.
Also note the accessory structure is far enough off the property line. And behind the pool filter, there's woods.
It
There
is.
should be no issue for the neighbor.
Okay. No concern
They also note
for
that
any
they have
type of-
$17,000 worth of fines from the construction department.
How much?
$17,000 worth
That
of
was
fines
paid?
from the
They
construction
paid
department.
$17,000?
They paid, I'm not sure what they paid already, but they did pay a significant amount.
Okay, good.
I do have a question, and you'll be able to tell me. It looks like it's a pretty big backyard. If there was ever a fire back there,
Everything's been inspected by our construction
no,
office.
but I'm saying if there ever was, fire could get back there, it's nothing blocking any type of fireman to get straight back?
I mean,
I'm just concerned like of a
no, there's distance, there's a lane.
clean, straight through?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, board, I need recommendations, suggestions. Anybody want to make a motion for or against this application?
Ma'am, the public portion's completed.
Well, I need somebody to make a motion. Anybody?
One way or another.
Does it have to go all together, or is this
Well, I need somebody to make a motion to
Either
either
to approve or
deny the
deny.
application.
all the three variants together? Like,
Yeah, all three variances are together, correct?
Charlie?
Mr. Sachs can sum up the relief that the board would be voting on.
Sure.
I think that would be.
I could do it
in terms
again.
of Focusing.
Okay, so again, there are three variances which are being sought. The first variance is for the accessory structure size. You're limited under the ordinance in this zone to 240 square feet. The pool house was constructed at 354 square feet, so it's 114 square feet in excess. The second variance would be for the location of the pool equipment, which under the ordinance in this zone must be 15 feet from a property line. This is 9 feet from the property line.
Talking 6 feet difference.
Right. And the third variance would be for the height of the, one of the pillars where the mailbox is located. That would be limited to 3 feet. This is roughly 5 feet. The conditions that would be imposed upon this applicant if the relief was granted is, first of all, the pool house could not be used for any residential purposes. All right, so it can't be utilized as a residential structure. Secondly, with respect to the pillar where the mailbox is located, if the Township of North Brunswick water utility ever needs to access that water line, which is in close proximity to the mailbox, the applicant acknowledges and will sign a waiver to not hold the township accountable for any damage that arises to that mailbox or the removal of that mailbox if in fact the water line needs to be accessed.
Correct.
So those are the three variances, those are the additional
Right,
conditions.
additional conditions.
May I just want to clarify, Mr. Sexton, there were two variances. The third, we thought we had satisfied with the jackhammering of the area in the 3 feet. So we thought we had resolved that.
But it's the height.
Eliminated that. And then Mr. Rafacci says, I think you got to fix this. So it was not a violation. It was something that either he and or Tom Horn discovered and said, you should take care of it. My client said, it's be done.
All right, well, that's fine, I understand that. He took remedial action with respect to that, but it still is a variance as to the height,
Yes.
according to Mr. Profacci. So those are the variances that are being sought, those are the additional conditions that are being imposed, and somebody needs to make a motion.
Yeah,
where
we
the-
need a motion.
Just to clarify, residential purposes in the accessory structure is living space, correct? If you host a pool party back there, that would not be? Residential purposes in the accessory structure are living space, not hosting a party back there or,
I'll make it even clearer.
sure.
That pool house can only be utilized for storage of pool equipment and supplies. It should not be used for any other purpose.
Correct.
If it rains, people shouldn't be going inside that pool house.
And hanging out.
Having a party in there.
Right. Okay. Now I need a motion from somebody.
I'll make a motion.
All right. Thank you, John.
Is that
Thank
to
you.
approve?
I'll make a motion to approve the variances requested.
Okay, thank you.
So it is a motion to approve the size of the accessory structure to the applicant and his attorney. I will note that this accessory structure is nearly 50% larger than code. While Mr. Sachs is correct that many people forget permits, 50% in excess is significant. The pool equipment being 9 feet from the property line, I would make a motion to approve. Regarding the pillars, I would make a motion that all 3 of them be removed from the right-of-way.
Okay.
I need a second, please.
I'll second.
Who's that? Kyla. Hi. All right, Kristen, can I get a roll call, please?
Mr. Almeida?
Yes.
Mr. Scatura?
No.
I'm sorry?
No.
No.
Ms. Millet?
Yes.
Mr. Bacalao?
No.
Ms. Muslin?
Yes.
Mr. Ray?
Yes.
Mr. Hyman?
No.
All right, well, the motion is approved because it just requires a majority. So just so it's clear for the public and for the applicant, the pool house can remain with the conditions that I've indicated. The pool equipment can remain, all right, and all 3 pillars must be removed. And if you want to re-erect your mailbox, you do it the right way, and you make sure it's out of the right-of-way and it's at the proper height. That concludes this hearing.
Thank you very much, sir.
It's been a pleasure, as always.
Thank you, Mr. Zoll. Thank you. All right, we're going to take a 10-minute, 8-minute recess. 7 minutes, 8 minutes. We'll be reconvening at 8:15, and we'll be hearing the quick check application next. All right, thank you. Before we get started, for those people that walked in after my statement, I'm just going to just read it again, just to make sure everybody understands. So we are now going to hear the quick check application. As I mentioned before, I would like to respectfully clarify for the board and the general public that the commercial use of this site has already been reviewed and formally approved through the appropriate zoning process. This was done on October 18th, 2022. The current purpose of tonight's meeting is not to revisit or debate the approved use, but rather to review and consider the proposed site plan to ensure it meets all applicable requirements and standards. I appreciate everyone's time and attention to the details of the site plan, and we are here to address any questions related to the layout, access, design, or compliance, not the underlying use, which has already been established. I just also want to mention to everybody that due to the size of tonight's group, we're going to limit our comments, if you do come up for public portion, to 5 minutes per person. All right, so with that being said, we're going to move to the quick check application. This is at Route 130 in Nimitz Place. This is regarding Block 230, Lot 15. It's a preliminary and final site plan approval for 5,760 square foot convenience store with the indoor-outdoor seating and a canopy to host 8 fuel dispensers. The use and the bulk variances were already previously granted, and this was in an R2 residential zone. Good evening. How are you?
Good evening. I'm fine, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Ron Shemanowitz from the firm of Hutt, Shemanowitz and Plocker on behalf of the applicant, American Properties at North Brunswick, LLC. Appreciate the chairman's statement clarifying what we're here for tonight. Just by a very brief summary of the application, the relief sought by the applicant tonight falls into several categories. We're seeking preliminary site plan approval. We're seeking final site plan approval. There are certain bulk variances we think that were not subsumed in the prior approval. To the extent that they're not, we seek those bulk variances. And in addition, we do want the board to consider the duration of the variances, both the existing one and any variances that the board may grant. That is another category of relief in terms of your ordinance that has a 1-year limitation on variances. So I'll just state that right up front. The existing variance, this board has been good enough to extend twice. The board last time around said, get your site plan application in and show us that you're serious. We did that on June 18th of this year. That brought us to tonight. But of course, the variance as approved and extended is scheduled to expire October 18th of 2025, which is around the corner. So sometime tonight, we would respectfully request that the board address that issue. And then there's the greater issue, if the board were to approve the application, what is the running of the approval vis-a-vis that special ordinance provision, which is your section 205-135.1I. Just by way of preview for the board, we do have several witnesses with us tonight, just so the chair can manage the hearing properly. I plan to call a representative of the property owner, Greg Cantor. This is quick testimony. Also a representative from Quick Check, who will be the lessee. Also quick testimony. We plan to call our site engineer, probably more in-depth testimony. We also have with us our traffic engineer. We have our architect, and last but not least, we have our planner. How much of that we get through, we shall see, but I did want to at least give the chair advance notice of what our game plan was.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And last but not least, we did receive the review letters, and we've been through them, and we're prepared to respond to them. And unless there's any other housekeeping, we're prepared to call our first witness.
Great, perfect.
Okay.
Call your first witness,
Our
please.
first witness is Mr. Greg Cantor from American Properties, from the applicant.
Sir, if you can come up and raise your right hand, be sworn in.
So you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. All right, please state your name, spelling your last name, professional affiliation for the record.
Greg Cantor, Kanter, American Properties.
Have you spoken in front of this board before, have you?
I did, yes.
Okay, I remember. We'll approve your,
I'm not an expert.
He's not an expert. He's gonna, you're
I'm
from.
an expert in nothing,
American-
but know a lot of stuff.
You're from American Property.
I'm with
oh,
American.
you American Property, sir, okay.
Yeah.
I do remember here speaking to you before, though.
American Properties, we're actually technically the contract purchaser for the property, not the owner. We have a long-term contract for the property. American Property has been building in New Jersey since the 1960s. Before my time, we've built about 10,000 homes in the state. We've bought down about 3 million square feet of office commercial space and about 10 hotels. My affiliation is right out of college, 23 years. I do the land acquisitions and entitlements, and I'm a partner in the firm. We have a signed letter of intent with QuickCheck, and we are really just in the final throes of the lease negotiation, and I expect very shortly we'll have that signed up with them as well. So I'm here to answer any questions that the experts can't answer, and just the guide, kind of the quarterback. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Greg, two quick items, hopefully. One is, could you just give a real overview of what work you've done getting us towards entitlements since American Properties became the contract purchaser of the site?
Sure. We did all of our due diligence in the property, all the geotech, all the environmental, traffic, title, everything to make sure that wherever the prior work was done, to make sure we could actually build a quick check on this site and do everything we need to do. From that point, we did all the engineering work, we did all the architecture work, we made our full submission package to the township, we made our full submission package to DOT, soil, county, and I think that was, so we literally are in for every single approval. We have our county approval, we have our soil approval, so we're pretty far along as far as the outside agency are concerned, and we're here trying to full bore go through the application.
And last set of questions, Greg, are you familiar with the resolution memorializing the grant of the bifurcated use variance application dated October 18th, 2022?
I think I've read it 100 times.
Okay.
Yes.
So I presume with that you're familiar with the conditions of approval,
Yes.
correct? And if I understand that resolution correctly, there are some 20 enumerated conditions, is that right?
That's correct.
And the applicant is willing to comply with those conditions if site plan approval were granted?
That's correct.
Is that
Yes.
correct? Okay. That's all I have of Mr. Kent.
Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Does anybody have any questions? No, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Our next witness is Mr. Stuart Kimmel from QuickCheck. We'd have Mr. Kimmel sworn.
Sir, please raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, please state your name, spelling your last name, and professional affiliation for the record.
Stuart Kimmel, Kimmel, Real Estate Manager, QuickCheck Corporation.
Thank you.
Stuart, if you could just start out with a little bit of your background, what it is that you do at QuickCheck and the experience you've had in developing QuickChecks.
So I'm with QuickCheck as their real estate development manager, sourcing locations and going through the approval process through construction and opening of the stores.
Okay. And how many stores approximately have you been involved with?
With QuickCheck, about 15, 12 to 15.
Okay. And could you describe for the board the operations at QuickCheck, in particular with regard to number of employees, deliveries, and hours of operation?
So the majority of our stores are 24-hour operations. I understand this store would be 5 a.m. to 1 a.m. Aside from that, we typically have 8 to 10 employees per shift, depending on volume and business. Deliveries will have typically 1 fuel truck per day, depending on volume, and then 1 tractor trailer delivery per day for the store itself. And then there's some smaller deliveries throughout the week, the Tasty Cakes, the Frito-Lays, smaller box truck deliveries.
And I'll do this hopefully not too tediously, but I think it's important. Certainly comes up in the review letters. I want to focus you in on some particular conditions of approval that are set forth in the October 18th, 2022 resolution of approval. Condition number 5 says that there will be prohibited non-delivery tractor-trailer parking at the rear of the building, limiting vehicles to less than WB 50 size. Is that acceptable to quick check on the applicant?
That's acceptable, yes. My understanding is up till 10 p.m.
Yes, I'm going to keep reading. The applicant will reserve the oversized rear spaces required by the Township Ordinance 205-62H in the C2 zone for oversized vehicles such as delivery vans, landscape vans, and similar vehicles. Is
Correct.
that also acceptable? Right. And lastly, as a condition number 5, the applicant shall post no idling signage, correct?
Correct.
Okay. I'm going to move on to condition number 6. Condition number 6 says no fueling of tractor trailers at any fueling location at the site. This condition will be enforced through signage and employee monitoring of any tractor trailer seeking to fuel, and the requirement that tractor trailers must exit the property and seek fuel elsewhere. Is that acceptable?
That's acceptable, correct.
Condition number 7 of the 2022 approval, deliveries of product in tractor trailer WB 50 or greater utilizing the rear loading area shall be prohibited between the hours of 10 p.m. and 7 a.m. Is that
Acceptable,
understanding
yes,
acceptable?
correct.
And the last part of condition 7 says smaller step vans or other similar deliveries, milk, bread, and the like, shall not be subject to this restriction.
Correct,
That's your
yes.
understanding. And then the last condition I wanted to zero in on, although there are other conditions, we're accepting them all, but just to specify these few. Condition number 8 states that hours of operation, Quick Check shall restrict hours of operation between 1 a.m. and 5 a.m. defined as the restricted hours. Quick Check employees may remain in the premises for the purpose of cleaning, inventory control, baking, and related preparation of food and product for the morning hours. All fueling operations shall be closed, all signage, illumination turned off, and all access doors locked to prevent customer access during restricted hours. Is that an acceptable condition?
Acceptable, correct, yes.
Okay. Thank you. The last item I wanted to cover with you, Stuart, and maybe you can explain it to us all. I understand there's an issue out there in the industry regarding the EV charging stations and getting the materials and equipment installed. Can you explain what's going on out there and why we might need some relief from the board in terms
Sure.
of when we can complete that process?
So we're agreeing about installing the EV stations. The issue that we get is typically the utility companies, and we use a third-party vendor for the equipment. So they typically won't come in until the store is built or open. So we request that we are allowed to do an EV-ready setup where we'll do the infrastructure and then be able to open for business with a TCO, CO, typically a TCO. But we're kind of at the mercy of the utility companies and the third-party vendor, which comes in after we're open for business. They do their survey and markouts and things like that, so.
That would be part of the relief. I did not mention in my intro that the applicant would be seeking, and we actually have a proposed condition that's been placed in other approvals for Quick Check. Happy to share that with Mr. Sachs at the appropriate time, but that should be on the hit list of relief sought, that we may not be able, just because of the supply and demand issues, be able to actually have the charging stations up and running prior to a CO.
But you don't have any problem or issue putting it in, it's just a matter of the timing.
It's a
Correct. We'll
timing.
put it in. It'll be designated where it's going to be installed on the site plan, on the property. We'll do the underground infrastructure before we operate.
And I'm assuming we could agree upon a date after opening when it would be activated.
I think that would be a fair condition, and I think in other instances where we've dealt with this, there was actually some bonding involved as well to make sure that it got done. So we wanted to make the board aware of that situation.
All right.
And bonding more preferable than a date, because again, we're proposing to utility companies.
Right.
So we're willing to bond it, but.
All right.
I have nothing further, Mr. Kimmel. As the board does.
Anybody from the board have questions? Yes, Jonathan?
Is Quick Check known as a facility that refuels tractor trailers?
No.
Are there other locations in the state of New Jersey that service tractor trailers?
Yes. We
But
do
those
have
are-
one in Richfield. It's commercial fuel facility. It's a different kind of equipment and a different flow for a tractor trailer, which is 100 gallons worth of fuel. We do a low-flow diesel, but that's typically for like a landscape, a pickup truck. But it's a different piece of equipment, different nozzle that fits into the tank, and it's
So
specifically.
in
a
your
low-
estimation, there likely aren't a whole lot of tractor trailers that will
No.
stumble into this
And-
quick check?
And we've agreed not to post it and agree not to have it, but tractor trailers typically are CDL drivers, and they know typically where they can go to get fuel. They're not going to sit for close to an hour to fill up 100 gallons on our type of equipment. So it hasn't been a problem.
Wonderful.
Anybody else? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Stuart. Our next witness is our site engineer, Mr. Matt Kunzman. And have him sworn.
Sir, please raise your right hand. I'll swear you in. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, please state your name, spelling your last name, professional affiliation for the record.
Sure. My name is Matthew Kunzman. My last name is spelled Kunsman, and I'm a senior project manager at Bowler, site civil engineer.
Okay.
Good, thank you.
Mr. Shimano, you want to get him qualified?
Pardon?
Want to qualify him, please?
Yeah, could you just give us a little bit of your work experience, your educational background, and if and when you've been qualified as an expert in site engineering in the past?
Sure. So I have a bachelor's in science and civil engineering from Syracuse University. I've been with Bowler for 10 plus years now. I'm a senior project manager, where
Can you use the microphone?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Sorry about that. I'm a senior project manager at Bowler, where I've worked on numerous quick check applications in the past. I've also testified in front of various planning and zoning boards for quick check projects as well. And I have a license in civil engineering, or professional engineering license in civil engineering.
Good, thank you. We'll accept your qualifications.
Thank you. Matt, I'm going to turn it over to you. If there's a board you're going to utilize, let's get that marked, and then we don't have to interrupt you.
Should I mark in the top right corner? Is that?
Yeah, top right corner is fine.
A1.
Tell us if you could tell us by title, date, and prepare what it is that we're going to mark as Exhibit A1.
This is the aerial exhibit prepared by Bowler, dated September 18, 2025. And this shows the property outlined in yellow in the center of the page. To the south, it shows Route 130, to the east, Nimitz Place, and some residential uses to the north. As you can see on the site is wooded today. Also, there is a signalized intersection at the southwest corner of the property. The property is 3.51 acres and is also located in the R2 zone. And we're also submitted to the NJDEP for freshwater wetlands LOI as well. So that's just the high-level overview of the property. I was planning on just doing a high level and then just moving on. This will be my next exhibit, A2. This is the site layout plan exhibit prepared by Bowler, dated September 18, 2025. And this is a colorized rendering of our site plan that was submitted as part of our application. It also has the landscaping superimposed on this exhibit as well. So what we're proposing is a similar or the same layout as what was proposed previously as part of the use variance. It's a quick check convenience store on the western side of the site. That's 5,670 square feet. Contains 11 indoor seats and 8 outdoor seats. The building height's 30 feet, and we are also proposing a fuel canopy on the eastern side of the proposed development that has 8 dispensers that are 3 products each, and 2 diesel dispensers as well. So in total, 16 fueling positions. So comparing what was approved from the use variance plan to the plan that you see in front of you now, The major revisions that have occurred are within the right-of-way. So some of the right-of-way improvements, which our traffic engineer will testify later in this evening, hopefully. So as meeting with the NJDOT, they requested some revisions, and that's what you've seen on this plan. Additionally, we moved the sound wall closer to the development at Route 130, so it's further away from the residents, but the height remains the same at 18 feet high. And then on the southeast corner of the property, we also added an above-ground constructed wetland detention basin. Since when we first submitted as part of the use variance applications, the stormwater regulations have changed quite a bit from the NJDEP. So now we're required to propose an additional basin that's above ground compared to previously where we had underground. From a bulk standard perspective, it's generally consistent, or it is consistent with what was previously approved as the use variance. Moving on to access, we are maintaining the same access points from the use variance plans. So starting from the southwest, we're adding a driveway to be the south, or to be the fourth leg of the intersection. On the eastern portion of the property on Route 130, we're also having the same right-in, right-out driveway. And then on Nimitz Place, we have the one ingress driveway coming from the residential neighborhoods, so you can only make a right into the site, you cannot make a left in. The circulation on the site remains the same from what was shown on the use variance plans as well. We have two-way circulation around the gas canopy. Same on the western side of the convenience store. And in the rear, it's a one-way in a clockwise direction for circulation. The trash enclosure for the convenience store is located in the same location as previously proposed as well, in the northwest corner of the proposed development, which is an inconvenient location from employee perspective near the rear door, so they can access the trash enclosure, recycling, and also the maintenance shed. From a parking perspective, we do comply with the number of parking spaces required. We do have 66 total parking spaces on the site, which is inclusive of 3 ADA spaces on the western side of the convenience store, which is compliant with ADA regulations. We're also proposing 2 EV make-ready spaces located on the southeast corner of the gas canopy, which complies with the EV ordinance. And we've also discussed with Mr. Carley about the number of EV spaces, which we will comply with the ordinance requirement as well. For the loading of the site, so we do have a loading zone located in the rear of the convenience store that's to be utilized by a maximum of a WB50 delivery truck and also smaller box trucks. We do have oversized parking spaces on the northeast corner, which allow cars to park perpendicular, as well as a large parallel parking space directly in the rear of the convenience store as well. For the fueling components, we do have 4 underground storage tanks located on the south side of the gas canopy. They're 20,000 gallons each, which is the same that was proposed previously. They do comply with the Bureau of Underground Storage Tanks regulations as well. Again, we are proposing a sound wall in the rear. located on the northern side of the development that wraps around the rear, separating the residential use from the proposed development.
I don't mean to interrupt you. How tall is that sound wall?
It's 18 feet.
18 feet? And then it goes all the way around? We're starting at Nimitz?
It starts at Nimitz and wraps around the back and then ends at the northwest corner right behind the trash enclosure.
Thank you.
All right, so moving on to stormwater management. So we have proposed a stormwater management plan which is compliant with the NJDEP regulations for major development criteria consisting of water quantity, quality, groundwater recharge, and also a green infrastructure. We're doing this by proposing quite a bit of actual infrastructure on site where we have porous pavement in all the parking spaces, including porous asphalt along the perimeter and also porous concrete around the convenience store. And then additionally, we have a large basin, constructed wetland basin, which is green infrastructure as well, located in the southeast corner of the property. We are proposing approximately 16,600 square feet of pervious pavement on site. So that is new from what was previously proposed. So comparing that to the impervious coverage on the site, a total impervious coverage, that's approximately 25% of the site's impervious coverage is porous pavement. So it's quite a bit of porous pavement proposed. All right, moving into signage. So we are proposing a sign package which was previously presented at the use variance application and is consistent with that. But just identifying the signs on the plan, so we are proposing a freestanding sign that's 20 feet high, 74.8 square feet, located at the signalized intersection driveway. We're also proposing 2 canopy signs that are 22.6 square feet, located on the eastern facade and the southern facade of the gas canopy. And on the food store, we're proposing a total of 3 signs. So 2 of them are 22.6 square feet, which are the Q logo for Quick Check. And then there's also a 57.7 square feet wall sign on the front of the convenience store with the Quick Check name spelled out. And all the signs are internally illuminated as well. And lastly, we do have enter-exit signs at the driveway locations that are 3 square feet, just to notify passengers that this is the entrance and exit for the development.
Are your signs going to state you can't make a left-hand turn onto Nimitz?
Yes, we do have additional signs that will prohibit drivers. This is a one-way driveway, and we also have do not enter signs at the end of that access aisle to the development.
So it'll be up ahead, so they know not to even go down there to think about.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
And then we are also proposing no idling signs in the rear of the site, so people parked in the oversized parking spaces or other parking spaces, there will be signs that says no idling as well. Moving on to lighting, we are providing the same lighting package that was proposed previously as part of the use variance. We have made slight tweaks by revising the types of fixtures, but they are dark sky compliant. They comply with the previously approved variance for the 3-foot candles at the property line located at the driveway. And they also are equipped with motion sensors, so during when the Quick Checks close to customers, the lights that are not needed for security purposes will be off, and then if someone walks by it, a motion sensor light will turn it back on. And they also have house-side shields as well. Some of the light fixtures along the perimeter have house-side shields to limit or prohibit light spilling on to the neighboring property. Then lastly is landscaping. So as part of this project, we are removing trees. So there are 217 trees required to be replaced. We are proposing 109 trees for the development. We are requesting to replace the additional trees that are required in lieu of the tree fund, so providing funds to the tree fund. But otherwise, our landscaping plan complies with the ordinance. We are filling in some of the gaps in the buffer in the rear of the site with additional trees, and then we're also providing shrubs on the north side and the south side of the sound wall as well. And then throughout the site, we also have trees, shrubs, and other ground cover proposed throughout the site. And I think that concludes my direct. If there's anything else you want me
Oh,
to...
that's great. I appreciate it, Matt. Just one general question for you. Have you had a chance to review the Delaware Raritan Engineering review letter of September 22nd, 2025?
Yes, I have.
Okay. And is the applicant willing to comply with the recommendations of that letter? Or is there anything that's not acceptable?
No, I've talked to Mr. Carley, and we can work with him to come to a solution on any issues. So we agreed to the letter.
Thank you. I have nothing further of Mr. Kunzman.
Thank you. Anybody from the board have questions? I have two questions, though. Can you speak to the sound wall, just from efficacy for the neighbors behind it? 18 feet suffice to keep sound out, and how beneficial is that for the neighbors that's depicted in that picture?
Sure. So the sound wall, there was a sound study that was provided and testified to at the use variance application.
Right.
So it would comply. The sound wall would limit the amount of sound and would comply with the state ordinance requirement. And then as a condition of the approval previously, we are required to do a post-construction and sound study to make sure that the sound levels meet what was in those reports.
So in your professional opinion, with the 18-foot sound wall and the trees that are noted there behind the sound wall, that should suffice to keep out as much sound as possible to the residents that live around Nimitz, and then I guess that would be McKinley?
Yes.
Okay. And then secondly, the second question I have, when you come off of 130, make a right-hand turn onto Nimitz, that is a left-hand turn into that they will be allowed to make a left-hand turn into the site, correct? So
No.
you're heading down 130. If somebody didn't want to enter the
Okay.
property from 130, right, make a right onto Nimitz, they're going to be able to make a left-hand turn into that property, or no?
No, the approved site plan, I do recall there were iterations to this driveway, and we did have that movement
Right.
at one point.
That's why I'm
And
asking, yeah.
We were told to remove it as part of the use variance. We're only allowed to make, I guess, you're only allowed to make a right into the site. You cannot make
Okay.
a left coming from Route 130.
So then that would my second question, I was hoping that you would say that, but then are there going to be signs, I guess, on the opposite side of the property or on the same side of the property that says no left-hand turn?
Yes.
Okay. So there'll be signs that do not enter on the property, that they can't go down that to make a right or a left, but there'll also be a sign that says no left turn into the property off of Nimitz.
Correct.
Okay. Good, thank you. So the only way then into your site would be off of 130, as long as people obey the rules?
Yes.
Okay.
Jen, I got one question.
Yeah.
Just refresh my recollection. So you mentioned that the detention basin which is now, I guess, to the far east of that property, that was not proposed with the original concept plan that was part of the use variance application. What was there before, if you recall?
It was just-
landscaping?
I believe it was just a grassed area. It might have had some shrubs.
Okay.
This basin is a constructed wetland basin, so it has, is required to have all types of landscape cover, from shrubs to meadow mixes and so on. Comply with DEP.
And the reason you had to do that was because of the change in the New Jersey DEP stormwater regulations, which were adopted and codified after the use variance was granted in 2022?
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
To Larry's question, are there going to be, and I can't tell from here, are there going to be barriers around that? So I always think about emergency purposes and, God forbid, car accidents. If you had a car heading Route 130 south and lost control and came off the road, would there be anything, is there going to be something there to prevent them from going into that basin?
Yes, there is the fence proposed.
Okay.
On top of the basin. I would defer the rest of the question to our traffic consultant. They would be able to assist with that, but there is criteria from the NJDOT that they review for proximity to, like you're saying, like a basin. Be able to tow a car out or make sure they don't fall in.
Well, that's the thing is, I'm more concerned not so much of pulling it out, but something high enough that if a car went off the road, that I would rather it hit something to stop it than have it going in. So.
Sure.
Okay. And then I hate to belabor the point, we can move on, but I'm just, again, coming off of Nimitz and making a left into the property. Is there going to be something that almost prevents cars from making a left into there? Or, like, is the road going to be, is there going to be something there that they, once they get there and they say, oh, I can't make a left, I have to go straight?
The driveway is designed with curb returns and a radius,
Okay.
Which deter cars from making that left because they really have to make a 180-degree turn almost.
And the reason why I'm asking is I'm more concerned about the residents that are coming out of Nimitz, that if now cars start to back up on Nimitz, there's not a car that's going to either hold up traffic or, God forbid, make an illegal turn. So I just wanted to make sure that there's something there that almost deters somebody from realizing you maybe make the mistake once, but won't make the same mistake twice.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Charlie?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Excuse me. While you were talking to Mr. Kunzman, I was going through the October 2022 resolution relative to sound attenuation and the conversations that's recorded in the resolution about the board's concerns expressed at its September 2021 hearing. And as Mr. Kunzman testified, a sound study was provided at that time. An outfit called Russell Acoustics appeared in front of the board. And I go through this because that was 4 years ago.
Right.
A presidential cycle, an Olympic cycle, it's a long time ago. But at the time, the board did express a significant amount of concern. At the time, the board instructed that an 18-foot high, 18 feet in height, and constructed either using wood or PVC barrier be installed. The plans presently specify a proprietary system that is, in my opinion, a little bit better than just a wood barrier. At the same time, the board said leave 80 feet of natural buffer between the rear residential property line and the proposed use. Here, I think the plan, and I want to rely on Mr. Kunzman to tell me if I'm right or wrong, generally along that back line, you achieve 100 foot of undisturbed woodlands?
Yes, but we are supplementing some areas to add additional plantings to make the buffer.
Well, would you agree that 100-foot is better than 80-foot?
Yes.
All right. That's one thing that, to your point, Mr. Chairman, in going through my current review report, the board will remember, and the public will too, the hearings for the use variance started in January of 2020 and completed in October of 2022. So there were 16 to 20 hearings. There was a lot of hearings, and a lot of the site issues were fleshed out by the board at the time. One thing that I think always bears restating with this project is there was, I believe, and I'll rely on Mr. Szymanowicz to correct me if I'm wrong, there was a firm commitment by the applicant to fund improvements to the intersection of 130 and Washington. And that is a very important aspect of this project in terms of left turns in, left turns out. And so at the time, there was a commitment that certificates of occupancy would not be issued until DOT sent I'll call it a love letter to the municipality saying that the improvements were on and operational. Does that still apply, Mr. Szymanowicz?
It does, Mr. Carly,
You can
Mr.
call me
Carly.
Mr. Carly.
Charlie or Mr. Carly.
Call him whatever you want.
It does. You stated it just right, and our traffic engineer is also going to confirm that as well.
Okay, well, you're in charge.
My word's
so.
good enough.
Yeah, well, yeah, you're an attorney, and so that's it, Mr. Chair. Thank you.
Anybody else? Yes.
So just one question. On Nimitz Place, there's no parking or anything, right? That you'll have signs to say no parking on Nimitz, just in case somebody was to make the right turn and get in there and park if there were no parking spots available in Quick Check, just in case.
Yeah, you can't park over there, right? You can't park on Nimitz.
Is that
I don't believe there's any signage that states no parking on Nimitz, but there is ample amount of parking on site. We do exceed the township requirement for a number of parking spaces required. So we believe we do have enough parking on the site, which our traffic consultant can speak to more of.
Okay.
Anybody else? Yes.
One last thing, Mr. Chair, because Mr. Kunzman's testimony dovetails to the municipality's tree replacement ordinance. There is a shortfall, okay, and that is accurately depicted within the site plan set of about 110 trees. Now, the cost per tree will be determined by the Department of Community Development, but the hard numbers, 110 trees. The contribution, and typically a medium tree in central New Jersey goes for about $250 a piece. So for the 110 trees, I just ballparking it off the top of my head, and that'll be determined by the Department of Community Development. You can expect to write a check for about $30,000 to North Brunswick Township Shade Tree Fund.
Understandable.
Okay, thank you.
We have nothing further, Mr. Kunzman.
Yep, we're good. Thank you.
Okay, then we will proceed with our next witness, who is Mr. John Kurek, who is our traffic engineer.
He testified before.
All right, Mr. Kirk, let me swear you in. Thank you. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, please state your name, spelling your last name, professional affiliation for the record.
Yep, John Korak, last name spelled C-O-R-A-K. I'm an engineer with Stonefield Engineering and Design at 92 Park Avenue in Rutherford, New Jersey.
You did testify in front of this board before, right? You look familiar.
Yes, I have.
Okay. So we'll accept your qualifications again.
Great, thank you. And for the record, my license is still current and in good standing.
John, you've prepared, or your firm has prepared, a traffic impact study. Is that correct? That was submitted with the application dated May 30th, 2025?
That is correct.
And could you give the board a summary or overview of that, and then we'll get into some of the specifics that the board is concerned about?
Yeah, so from an overall traffic perspective, the plan presented here today is consistent with the prior use variance and bulk variance approval. It maintains all of the same access points, which Mr. Kunzman touched on before. The main one, of course, being the fourth leg at the intersection of Route 130 and Washington Place, the right-in, right-out driveway on Route 130, and then the right-in only driveway on Nimitz Place. So all of that is consistent with the use variance approval and the resolution published for that approval. But as a part of the improvements, notably on the DOT portion of our frontage, what we are doing is we are adding a left turn lane within that median area on Route 130. And that's going to extend back about 225, 250 feet back to that next median break with Calvert Road. And that queuing area storage space is sufficient to accommodate the full stack at the peak hours. Supporting that left turn lane is going to be a protected left turn arrow, so similar or identical really to the opposite side of the roadway, the left turn onto Washington Place. It's controlled by green arrow, and so that protected phasing means that you're not trying to make a left turn on the green ball phase, right? So it's a protected movement. We have a high-speed corridor through here, and the DOT will not allow that permissive movement to the green ball phase, as we call it. Also with our project, the left turn lane turning onto Washington Place, it's currently deficient in terms of the storage length. You commonly see that the vehicle queue in that left turn lane spills back into the through lane. And so while this is not something that would be exacerbated by the Quick Check project, in order to mitigate this existing condition, we will be extending that left turn lane from Route 130 onto Washington Place, serving that movement. We're going to extend it to provide a larger drive-through queue to help the overall roadway operations. Let me make sure I haven't missed anything. And okay, well, I guess the last piece of this, as part of all this reconfiguration of the traffic signal, we will be constructing a brand new traffic signal to upgrade the current traffic light that's there. It's currently not in compliance with the DOT's latest standards, so we will be replacing it with all the latest bells and whistles and appropriate design. As part of this, we also conducted the updated traffic study, which was sent to your office. The findings and conclusions are generally the same as the use variance application. We did do updated traffic counts. I believe the prior application had counts from pre-COVID, so we are updated up to 2024 in terms of traffic volumes. Conducted that traffic analysis again, Quick Check projects and developments similar to it. As I'm sure this board has heard on different occasions with different projects, these types of developments largely capture their traffic from the roadway network and don't induce lots and lots of new trips to the area, but instead capture from cars that are already on the roadway network. This helps reduce any impacts, especially as you start to get further away from the site itself. Overall, with the traffic study that was prepared, no significant adverse impact is going to occur to the roadway network. We're able to accommodate the movements on and off of the site with the proposed improvements. We do have our DOT application in, and is currently under their review for all of the technical compliance that's necessary with a project of this size and scope.
John, one quick question for you. The improvements that you described, particularly to Route 130, those are being done by the applicant at the applicant's expense. Is that correct?
100% correct.
Thank you. Anything further you have in your outline?
Just that the parking supply is compliant and is appropriate for Quick Check development of this size. Do provide a few oversized parking spaces, please 7 of them, that are 12.5 feet wide by 32 feet deep, to handle some of the larger vehicles that may stop here being, a landscape truck or a larger size van that don't typically fit perfectly within those, standard parking spaces. We're not looking to accommodate tractor trailers on the site, not going to fuel tractor trailers on the site, but the oversized parking is usually a benefit just to keep things orderly on the site itself.
Thank you. Nothing further.
I have a couple questions.
Sure.
First one just goes back to the previous question I had about the retention basin.
Mm-hmm.
So a car heading down Route 130 south, God forbid loses control, ends up heading towards that retention basin. Is there something that will prevent that car from going just through the fence and into the retention basin?
So as it's currently designed, the fence is the mechanism there, and the reason for that is because the basin is set back outside of the clear zone that the NJDOT specifies. So based on speed and number of vehicles on the roadway and actually the slope of what is off the roadway, whether you're going up or down, they set a distance that you need to be set away from. And if you are within that distance, then they look for guide rail or other protective measures. We're outside of that distance, but if it's something strongly felt by the board, it's something we can look into with the DOT. They usually don't like doing more than is necessary, right? A guide rail that isn't needed per the standard is a different liability issue. So,
and I'm not even talking about a guide rail. I'm just wondering, just for thoughts, if maybe around the retention basin, around the 130 in Nimitz, if you could put like a higher buffer of grass or maybe a slope so it would slow a car down from just going right through. I've seen, unfortunately, enough accidents where the speed of a car heading down, I'm not talking about rush hour, but I'm talking about 9, 10 o'clock at night.
Sure.
Losing control, just maybe even a high mound of grass or a high dirt area just to slow a car down. I don't know if it's just a question. Second question I have is that a lot of the residents many moons ago had concerns about the church on the opposite side of the highway.
Mm-hmm.
Many of the residents in town go to that church and are coming out of that front property on 130, heading Route 130 north. So based on your results, I think you were part of that discussion that they had concerns coming out and then being held up in traffic or having that, church, times that the church are letting out if that would cause any concerns for motorists. And I think the main concern they had is that a car was heading down 130 south, goes through the light and decides to make a U-E to beat the Washington turn to make a left.
Mm.
And so if now you're putting a stacking lane to make a left into Quick Check, is that going to affect those cars that are trying to, it's not an illegal turn, but they're trying to beat out the light?
Yeah, so that their present day, there is a U-turn lane as you go in, at that median that's just past the signal as they're headed south on Route 130. That U-turn lane would be closed.
It would be closed.
Yes, but the opening's still there to accommodate your Calvert Road left turns. There's also the church that has their exit driveway at that opening. Those turns could still be accommodated. But essentially, that U-turn movement would go away, and you would need to make, whether it's U-turns or your left turns at the traffic signal, where most people do today. It's a pretty low movement that's actually low volume movement that's using the dedicated U-turn. But all that would shift to the traffic signal, and the extended left turn lane would absorb that the small amount of added traffic.
Okay, and then my final question is cars coming from East Brunswick heading to 130 from Washington.
Mm.
If they wanted to go directly across, are there, based on your left turn and right turn arrows, can a person go directly across both lanes of 130 from Washington?
So the plans that we have with DOT, with the detailed traffic signal plans, they do show that we basically implement a left turn only lane and then a shared through and right lane, which would allow for a vehicle to travel across during the green phase.
So they can do that then?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Good. Thank you. Anybody else?
Can I answer your first question?
Sure.
Go
Yeah,
back?
please.
Yeah, looking at like a berm or other.
Berm. I couldn't think of the
Yeah.
word. Thank you.
It just the spacing between, you got the shoulder and then the landscape strip, the sidewalk, and then to the basin. It's just not going to be enough space to put that kind of feature in.
Okay.
But, it's a good question.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd be concerned a little bit about the grading as well. If we were adding additional.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Yeah.
fine.
We don't want to create a ramp, don't want to launch
Listen,
it.
I've seen it all, believe it or not, so, okay. Thank you. Any other questions? Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our next witness is our architect, Mr. Oliver Young.
Sir, please thank you. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes, I do.
All right, please state your name, spelling your last name, professional affiliation for the record.
Sure. Oliver Young, Y-O-U-N-G. I'm a principal at GK&A Architects. Business address is 36 Ames Avenue in Rutherford, New Jersey.
Mr. Young, did you testify at the use variance? You look familiar.
Yes.
That's correct, I did.
Okay, all right.
We'll accept your
All right.
applications.
Thank you.
Oliver, you can take it away if you could give the board an overview of the architectural proposal for the quick check.
Sure, very briefly. First, I think I need to mark this as an exhibit. It's
A3.
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 Yep.
This is a colorized version of the building and fuel canopy elevations, sheet R1, dated April 10th, 2025. Just a brief overview of the floor plan itself. As mentioned previously, the footprint is 5,670 square feet, 77 foot wide by 68 foot deep. We have a bump out at the front of the store facing Route 130. That bump out is 53.5 foot wide by approximately 8 foot 6 deep, and that's where we have our entry vestibules on the east and west sides of the building. In the center of that bump out is the customer checkout area. The floor plan fairly remains the same as we previously presented, with the customer area, what we call the core, at the center of the store, and then the supporting areas such as the walk-in cooler, the restrooms, the office, and the service area around the perimeter. In terms of the building elevations and the massing, the main overall height of the building is 23 foot 6 inches to the parapet on all four sides. At the bump out at the front of the building, it bumps up to 27 foot 6 inches. And then we have the green quick check tower on the southeast corner of the bump out, which tops off at 32 feet above grade. All these heights I'm mentioning are to the parapet walls. They're not the actual roof height. The roof is significantly lower, and that's on purpose because we have a significant amount of rooftop equipment up there. A number of HVAC units, condensers, exhaust fans, plumbing vents. With the height of the parapet, all of that will be screened from view. In regards to the materials and colors on the building, there's two prevalent materials here. We have an EFIS system in both medium and light grays, and then we have a red brick finish. The brick acts as the base of the building. It starts at grade and goes up to a height of 11 foot 4 inches, where it's topped off with a brown stone coping. From there, we have the EFIS in medium gray, capped with a 10-inch high white coping. At the front elevation, the bumped out area, the brick stops at 3 foot 6 inches above grade, and we have a storefront framing sitting above that in a dark bronze color. That tops off at 11 foot 4 inches with a light green canopy that projects out from the bump out just a little bit at 1 foot 4 inches. However, over the customer area at the west side, that covers that entrance is 9 foot 3 deep. That canopy partially wraps around the west elevation where it dies into the brown stone coping. Above the canopy on the front elevation, we have additional glazing. However, that spandrel glass is non-visible. The spandrel is in a light gray finish, and that tops off at a height of 16 feet. From 16 feet to the top of the bump out, we have a light gray ephes, again topped off with the white metal coping. And at the southeast corner of the building, directly as you continue past the green metal tower, that's the customer seating area inside. We have additional glazing with spandrel glass. That's a little bit higher, topping off at 18 foot 4 inches. Segueing down to the fuel canopy elevations shown at the bottom of the seat, we've shown 2 of the 4 elevations. They're fairly typical. The minimum dimension from grade to the underside of the canopy is 14 foot 6 inches. The canopy itself is 3 feet high. The bottom 8 inches of that are a light green band in same light green as the canopy on the building, and then we have the quick check green above that with the quick check signage in white. The support columns of the canopy are 2 foot by 2 foot. They're in brick, and it's the same exact brick that we use on the building, creating a nice synergy between the fueling canopy and the building in terms of color and materials. I'm going to skip signage because Mr. Kunzman covered all of the fuel canopy and building signage in his testimony. I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have at this time.
So I don't know if you can answer this question. I was part of the discussions around the look of the building, and I'm not sure if you have another witness, sir, but we talked about security cameras throughout the property and that being put on the building. So is that part of your testimony, or is that somebody else's? I know that we discussed that.
I can touch briefly on
if
it
you could.
from a building perspective. When we do the full construction documents, we show the security cameras on the building, both interior and exterior. The majority of the cameras exterior are around the site, at light poles, et cetera, and on the fueling canopy. However, there are some building-mounted security cameras, which will be designed by QuickCheck themselves, and Mr. Kunzman will be working with QuickCheck to add them to his drawings as well.
All right, so based on your diagram, though, the cameras that we discussed in length, that wouldn't interfere with anything that we discussed. So what you had originally is nothing changed from when we discussed.
Correct.
Okay. Any other questions? No? Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our last witness is our planner, Ms. Tiffany Morrissey.
Good evening. I'm going to go over where the professionals have been so I can be
Let me
consistent.
swear you in, please. Please raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right, please state your name, spelling your last name, professional affiliation for the record.
Tiffany Morrissey, Morrissey. I'm a professional planner with my own firm in the state of New Jersey.
Tiffany, the benefit of your qualifications.
Yes, so I am a licensed professional planner in the state of New Jersey, as well as a member of the American Institute of Certified Planners for over 25 years. In New Jersey, I have a master's of city planning from the University of Pennsylvania. I have appeared throughout New Jersey before various boards, although this would be my first time in North Brunswick, but I did go to Rutgers for my undergraduate degree, so I do know the area. I have prepared many master plans, subdivision applications before boards, zoning ordinances, redevelopment plans, and right now I'm living in housing plan world. So,
Good. Thank you. We'll accept your qualification.
thank you.
Thank you.
So for this evening, when this application was presented to this board and the resolution of approval was done, I believe it was finalized in 2022, the resolution recognized that the bulk variances that were necessary for the sound wall and the signs were, in essence, subsumed into the use variance approval. There is some language in the use variance approval that may leave some question as to whether all of the signs were subsumed into that use variance approval. So for belt and suspenders approach, I'm just going to provide some brief testimony about the signs, what those variances are, and why they're appropriate on this property. And you heard from our engineer, and you see the nice pictures on A3 from our architect. We have signs proposed that are consistent with a commercial development as proposed here. We are requesting variances from your ordinances to allow for the fact that we are requesting signs because of the zone that this site is located in, which the use variance recognized. The signs that we're proposing are a freestanding sign at a height of 20 feet and 74.8 square feet. That sign size and dimension is consistent with what is required for service stations or gas stations in your C3 zone in, or I think it's your C4 zone, in the town. So it's not a sign that's bigger than what you would see in any other establishment similar to this, but because of the zone this is in, it's not permitted. We have the canopy signs, which are 2 at 22.6 square feet. The canopy signs on each end, the south and the east elevation of the canopy. They're small in size, but help identify where the fueling station is. We also have the wall signs. The 2 tower element signs are at 22.6 square feet, and the single wall sign at 57.7 square feet. And we have the enter and exit signs at 3 square feet each. We require variances also because we are proposing a setback of the freestanding sign at 10 feet and a 0-foot setback to the property line for the enter and exit signs. That doesn't mean it'll be out to the street. The property line is inside the right-of-way line, so there's adequate separation and distance to the actual paved cartway where the vehicles are traveling. But we want to make sure those signs are up front and present for safe identification to enter into the property, and also to encourage and identify those entrances on the main highway, and in that way people know to use those main entrances onto the site, and there's no confusion with the side street located next door on the side of the property. And lastly, we are asking a variance to illuminate those signs. So those are the variances that relate to the signage itself. Briefly, these are C2 variances. In the C2 variance, you demonstrate where the purposes of zoning are advanced and the overall site development is advanced through the application before you, that those benefits would substantially outweigh the detriments, and that whether or not there's a substantial impairment of your zone plan, your zoning ordinance, or a substantial detriment to the public good from the variances requested. In accordance with Pullen v. South Plainfield, we look at the entirety of the application, and what we have here is an application that is approved, a use that is approved for a gas station and convenience store on Route 130. So it is appropriate to consider appropriate signage to identify that business operation so that people can safely identify the property, access the property easily, and ensure that there's adequate, that the signage that's proposed on this commercial establishment is consistent with what's allowed in other areas within the community. This application, in my professional opinion, advances the purposes of zoning that were advanced under the use variance criteria, but also specifically the purpose of zoning to ensure and encourage municipal action to guide the appropriate use or development of all lands in a manner which will promote the public health, safety, morals, and general welfare. Again, it's not uncommon to have this type of signage associated with this kind of development. The overall site development is consistent with what was presented during the use variance approval, and the signage as proposed this evening is consistent with what was presented to the board as part of the use variance approval. In terms of the positive criteria and the benefits, I believe the overall benefits that are afforded to having the appropriate identification of the site access points with the reduced setbacks for the signs is appropriate and advances that purpose of zoning, as well as ensuring a comprehensive and consistent design theme on the property. I don't believe this then raises the substantial impairment of your zoning ordinance or your master plan or creates a substantial detriment to the public good. Again, we've tried to model the signs after existing commercial regulations for signage in the township and to be consistent with the signage of other uses in the surrounding area. And for those reasons, I don't believe it raises to the level of creating a substantial impairment of your ordinances or a substantial detriment to the public good. In balance, this application with these signs are substantially consistent with the use variance approval and can be granted by the board.
And just one quick question, Tiffany, to the extent you're comfortable with it. In my introduction, we talked about the ordinance provision that limits variance approvals to a one-year duration, that the project has to be built within 1 year from approval. Do you have an opinion on that and how it relates to this particular application?
Yeah, so the provision of your ordinance, which would require 1 year for construction to occur from use variance when it's a bifurcated application requiring site plan approval and outside agency approvals, we're requesting, because of the extra components, it's not just a use variance to use a place within a shopping center where you're changing a tenant. There's a lot more that goes into it. And so to tie that approval to the site plan approval makes good planning sense and is consistent with the municipal land use law so that all approvals are tied together in the same time frame to allow the applicant to proceed with their outside agency approvals and construction.
Thank you. Nothing further of Ms. Morrissey.
Can I ask you, the freestanding sign that you have that usually displays the cost of the gas?
Yes.
I don't know, maybe based on A2, the previous, if you could just show me, would you mind where that is located on the property?
So this is Exhibit A2.
Right.
The freestanding sign with the larger freestanding site identification sign will be at the farthest intersection at the traffic light across from Washington, which is to help draw people's eyes that way, so they're inclined to go further to get into the entrance closer to.
So I'm assuming, which I think I know the answer, but that doesn't prohibit cars now from a site triangle perspective. If they're leaving your facility and if they're pulling out and they're going to go across 130 South to make a left onto 130 North, that wouldn't prohibit anything from them pulling out, or if they're, making a right onto 130 South. There's nothing that would prohibit them from not being able to see what's coming down.
No, it will have a 10-foot setback to the freestanding sign.
Oh, well, okay.
And the 0-foot setback is for the directional signs that say enter and exit. It's just your ordinance, I believe, requires a 20-foot setback. So, and it is on the other side of the sidewalk, so it's set back far enough to be not impeding anyone's sight visibility.
Okay. Anybody else? Jonathan?
One, as part of the previous use approval, we agreed that signs would not be illuminated during the restricted hours from, I believe, 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. Is that still a condition we're aware of and agreeing to?
Yes, we read off that condition that lighting would go off between those hours. We are asking for relief, though, to illuminate some signage, internally illuminate.
There we go. Now my microphone's on. A potential customer traveling from Washington Place, do they have any way of viewing the cost of fuel at Quick Check? Are they expected to see all the way down to the south elevation sign?
So I'm going to put up, I think it's A1, and at that angle, I don't know that they'll be able to see the pricing because it's going to be more visible to the traffic on Route 130.
Understood. Okay.
But they'll be able to see the sign for the facility, but they may not be able to see the pricing. But there is a little bit of an angle as that road comes up, so they maybe could.
I said if they're coming off of Washington, there's 2 other gas stations on that side anyway. So.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. Mr. Chairman, Tiffany was our last witness, so that is our presentation.
I do have, I'm sorry that I asked for the traffic professional. Cars that are leaving Quick Check, if they wanted to make a left onto 130 North, they could do that, correct? I think you said so, but I just wanted to make sure.
Correct.
That they can make a left out of the facility to go across 130 South, 130 North.
Correct. So
Okay.
with the green phase of the 4th leg of the intersection, they would be able to make the left turn onto 130 North.
Okay, good, thank you. Yeah, we went to. Okay, we're going to, I would like to get a motion to move to the public portion.
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Matt. I need a second. Thank you. So if you are here from the public, if you could come up to the podium. Just remember what we discussed, that this is just for what was discussed tonight. You will have 5 minutes per person, and we will start with you. Hello.
Hello, David
State your
Pinto,
name and-
1620 McKinley Avenue. Pinto, P-I-N-T-O. I actually have several questions. It may take a little longer than 5 minutes. I'll try to go as fast as possible. We have A2 up, Exhibit A2 up. I have several questions in regards to traffic, questions or concerns, so the traffic expert can chime in on this. We are extending the left turn lane from Route 130 north into Quick Check at Washington. Is that not correct? Okay. So it is more preferable to have the heavy traffic coming into Washington from, say, Adams Station or any parts south.
Can you repeat that? I'm sorry.
Okay. So my point I'm driving at is that a lot of the traffic that would be coming from the neighborhood, which is north, all the neighborhoods up through Judd School, the high school, all along Adams Station. It would be preferable to have them come down Adams Station to make a left at the extended intersection that you've created there, the extended left-hand turn, correct, into Washington from the southbound lane of 130.
I'm trying to understand. So you're talking into the Quick Check. Right. So we have the northbound lane that we're proposing.
So we have the neighborhoods that are north.
Right.
Okay, all the way up to Judd School Road. Those folks there, it would be advisable to have them come where the heavy traffic is, down Adams Station, make a left on to Route 130 north, and then use that new left turn.
That's correct.
Aspect to this. Okay. So then my question then, at that point,
Mr. Pinto, I think also, if I could just, I know that neighborhood very well, so anybody on McKinley and back towards Judd, if you're suggesting, that's why I was asking so much about Nimitz and the egress and ingress into the facility, they'll probably be coming onto Nimitz also to make a right.
yeah, I guess my question is then, is that Nimitz entrance necessary? Because that Nimitz entrance then would invite all those neighborhoods to drive through the McKinley neighborhood, for lack of a better term, into Quick Check, where we'd be advisable to take them, the heavy traffic, out to Adams Station onto 130. That Nimitz entrance is going to invite people to come through the neighborhood, which will increase traffic. Conceivably could increase traffic.
Okay, so the Nimitz entrance, I think the benefit of it is that traffic that does come down Nimitz, if you didn't have the right turn entrance here, would have to go down to the stop sign, make a right turn onto 130, and then a right turn into the Quick Check.
That would be difficult. So that would discourage them from doing that.
Not
They
necessarily.
would probably go to Adams Station to 130.
Not necessarily.
Who would want to make that turn like that? You do what you just explained would be very tough to do.
Well, I think also, if I can, and I understand your point completely, I think also from a first responder perspective, fire, EMS, it's always beneficial also to have two entrances into the facility. But anybody that is in that neighborhood, if they wanted to come and grab a cup of coffee in the morning before going to work or anything, I think you would also then be having all the neighbors that want to go to Quick Check have to go all the way out to Adams to come back on to 130 to come back on. If I lived in that neighborhood and wanted to go to Quick Check, I wouldn't want to go out to Adams Lane to come back if I lived right around the corner, let's say on Taylor.
Having visited a lot of the neighbors in that neighborhood, they have some great coffee makers in their homes there. I don't know that they'd be going to Quick Check.
But I think from a first responder perspective,
that's possible.
Right.
Along with the traffic, while we have this exhibit up, I have another question in regards to residents leaving Nimitz. And I would say probably a majority, I can't say that for sure, but I would say a majority of those leaving Nimitz then go to the light on Washington to make the U-turn to go north.
In the morning, that would make sense.
That would make
generally.
sense. And throughout the day, I think, because a lot of the action is north in terms of shopping malls or whatnot.
Sure.
Now, we've extended, if I could just, can I move over?
Yeah, please.
So we've extended this left-hand turn here. This is already a very difficult left-hand turn because if you're coming on Nimitz, the traffic course volume is much higher than it's ever been. You have to really jump out and get over real fast to get into the left turn lane. Now, under the new scheme, this left turn lane will be extended, and as all of us know, the traffic there always backs up, as you pointed out. So now, conceivably, especially during rush hour, have this traffic could be backed up almost to Nimitz. It almost is there now. And now, as you pull out, there's no place for you to go to make the left because there's cars stacked up there. So this will make it very, very difficult for all these residents to come out as they do now to head north.
I'm just, I mean,
I'm sorry, do you see my point?
I see your point, but how is that different than it is today?
Well, because this left turn lane does not extend out. So you still have, it's still very difficult, no question about it. You have to jump out, and it's not too many times you have to jump out, only when the light, jump out and then get into the fast lane and then make your way into the turning lane, which is further down. Now the turning lane will be back here. So there's no place for you to go.
So the extended left turn lane does not extend all the way to Nimitz. Now, if we extended that left turn lane to Nimitz and beyond, you could then have a queue that backs up in the left turn lane and creates the situation that Mr. Pinto's talking about. But because the left turn lane, it's extended, but it doesn't go all the way to Nimitz, it's, as the chairman's pointing out, the same situation today as it would be in the future, where you need to get over, but if the line or the queue of cars is backed up outside of that left turn lane, it's the same situation as today.
Can you address the distance between Nimitz and the start of that lane? It doesn't go to Nimitz, but what's it?
I mean, is it double the size, triple the size, quarter the size?
In terms of
From
like,
your proposed extension?
it's it's rough.
If you have this left, I'm sorry. If we have this left turn lane, say to here, it still makes it pretty difficult to. Then you really have to make a quick move.
I mean, that's quite a distance, though. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Are you doubling
that's why I'm
it?
trying to get an idea.
Yeah,
from
that's
him
what I'm saying.
exactly
Are you
what
doubling it? Are you tripling it?
We're confirming right now.
And then if there's another point, Mr. Pinto, because you're past the 5, so.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Trying to keep it under 5.
I just want to leave
not doing a very
everybody
good
else
job.
without being here until.
Sir, while they determine the distance for you, are there any other comments you have to make this evening?
Yeah, we actually have several comments from several of the residents that asked me to come up and ask these questions. so.
If you're representing them, that's.
I'm not representing all of them, but
Okay.
a couple of them just said, can you go up and ask these questions? All right, so I'm going to move on then.
It's about 75% longer. So it's about 120 today, goes to a little over 200 for the full width area.
120 to 200?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's not double.
That's, okay.
It would probably run, I would say, midway up the property.
My next two questions are still with traffic, so you can just stay on there. Most of that church exiting traffic, I'm a parishioner there, who enters onto 130, most of that enters and leaves southbound. So your extended left turn lane, will that affect those parishioners' ability to left? Now, mind you, that's only once a week or if there's a special function or whatnot there, but there's an awful lot of volume of traffic there.
Yeah, so the opening there will still permit the left turn to be made.
Will the left turn lane be out of the church? Will the left turn out of the church be in, will that left turn lane into Quick Check extend to the church exit?
The line of cars will not, no. Like cars waiting to get into the Quick Check, that won't back up to that opening and impact the church volume, no.
But will the left turn lane extend to the church exit? I realize cars may or may not be that long, but
It will end at the opening. So it extends to that point. It doesn't taper back. It ends at that opening.
So they could be affected, but okay. And just to clarify, is the signage, and this might be for the planning, is the signage square footage and height higher than the original October 2022 application? Or is the square footage more and is the height more? Yeah, sure, go ahead.
The square footage is the same, and one of the conditions of the 2022 approval was to reduce the height to meet the building height requirements, so that has been reduced as
We brought that down.
You brought it down. Okay, that's good. That's very good. And if I understand right, this is a question for the resident of 414 Nimitz. Is 100 feet, that's the home right there. Is there 100 feet now between the property line? We've extended it from 80 to 100? 414 Nimitz is the first house, right where the Nimitz entrance is. So that's 414 right there, yeah. Is that now 100 feet from his property line? Did I understand that correctly from before?
Property lines to buildings, if you could clarify.
Property line to building?
Oh, so it's 100 feet to the building?
The back of the sidewalk that's along this drive aisle, that's 102 feet to the property line. To this
The
gas
house I'm
canopy?
speaking of is on Nimitz,
Sure, to this?
Yeah, yes.
Yeah, the corner of this property, at the northeast corner, right?
Okay.
To the back of the sidewalk is 102 feet.
Okay, all right, fine. One last question. From what I understood, the tree selection, and this is kind of important, the tree selection comes under the purview of community development.
No, not the tree selection in terms of species. The replenishment or the contribution to the shade tree fund, which is a fund within the municipal government, which can be applied only to planting of trees within the community, within the municipal boundaries. It's a fund that's in a lockbox just for trees within the town. That's for the shortfall in replacement trees. But the species that are planted on the site are under the purview of the Zoning Board of Adjustment, this board.
Okay, so the reason why I bring that up is because tree size is important, and the type of tree is important. Those of us that live in that neighborhood know we have ferocious deer in our neighborhood. And if you have green giants, or if you have abrevieties, about this high up, they get eaten, down to the bark. Now, if you have a Leland pine, which is a lot more expensive, they don't eat those. And of course, the size of the tree is important as well, because the lighting now is going to be at 20 feet. They've come down. Thank you. We appreciate that. But the tree selection, the tree size, and the tree type would be important. Because as our neighbors know, you plant an abrevieties or a green giant or something, it's a waste because they get completely eaten, especially in the winter if you get a little bit of snowfall. So that would be one thing we would like to see you consider to put that into it. Because after the trees are up, I mean, who do we talk to about the trees? It's over. So.
But just remember, they're putting an 18-foot retaining wall first, which then follows the current trees that are there on top of more trees.
Sound wall.
I mean, sound wall, not retaining wall. Sorry, sound wall.
Will any of the existing trees be kept?
I think from what you have, there's a lot of trees there outside of the highlighted green trees. I hope that I'm not misspeaking.
That's correct. There's an aerial, which is the same aerial that's shown on Exhibit A1 in the background. So all the areas that don't have additional trees that we're adding, we're keeping those trees in that existing buffer.
In that 100-foot, okay.
Yeah, it's all the same trees. All they're doing is adding more trees to what the current trees that are there.
Very good. Chairman, I appreciate the extra time.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Next. Good evening.
Yes, sir. Just state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Jonathan Flanders. I'm the chair of the Environmental Commission, and I'm at 615 Magnolia Road.
Thank you.
So I have some general comments. North Brunswick is a town with very little undeveloped land. When a location does become available for development, the following is typical of commercial development. Most, if not all, of the trees are cut down. Much of the land is covered by both buildings and asphalt. Very little land is left untouched. The resulting permeability of the soil has decreased substantially, which results in the need to build retention or detention water basins. Quick Check will be another example of this. And some of the other examples I've seen lately that we've reviewed, actually not all of them we've reviewed, but Amaranth Apartments, Phase 1 and 2, Main Street, which is still in process, Regal Theater along Route 1. What I don't want to see, Route 130 has sort of a personality to it right now. There's a lot of trees. I'd like to avoid another area like Route 18. Some of the things that we are opposed to with regards to this and other developments is the loss of trees in natural areas, which provide beauty to the township and areas for wildlife. There's more runoff to local waterways, which degrade the water quality and natural habitat. Retention and detention basins are often unsightly. Some of them, a lot of them are cement, like, I don't think it's legal anymore, but the one over by Regal Cinema has a cement structure around it, which is not too nice. Of course, there will be more traffic. Large blacktop areas act as heat sinks. Trees, when they're cut down, they serve as a means to cool the land surface. There's light pollution, and as you've seen in the past, there's been a lot of public opposition to this from the local residents. And lastly, it will impact existing businesses. There are currently 2 gas stations and 2 sort of quick marts in the area that I believe both will be impacted. For those reasons, I'd like to see maybe another location, something like Truman Storage. I don't know. A location that would be bigger, that would fit the footprint and wouldn't create the need to cut down as many trees, and also to build things like retention and detention basins, which...
Again, I understand your point, but this site was approved already.
Yeah.
So, I do appreciate your comments, but it's already been approved for this location. So, as far as the trees go, I understand your point. I think what the applicant is doing is trying to keep as much as the property intact that they can with the trees, especially planting more. But just for the purposes of the use, that's already been approved, so it's already there.
We're really speaking more to the future as far as my desires. I know this is probably a done deal.
Right.
And part of is my frustration with, we make recommendations, but I'd like to maybe be part of earlier in the game being involved with.
Sure. I think that as future applicants come around 1:30, for you to keep an eye out just within the township on the web pages, within the zoning board, within the planning board, so you're aware a lot earlier of what's going on before it's been approved.
Basically, I just don't want to see it develop. I mean, it just seems like they squeeze every dollar.
I understand.
Yeah. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, if I can just follow up on that. I mean, just so everyone in the public is aware, I mean, there were 16 hearings on this application. They started before the pandemic.
Yes.
And we concluded it 2.5 years later. So this board did grant the use variance for this particular location, and all we're here for this evening is for a site plan approval and some minor bulk variances with respect to signage. So I know some of you, maybe you were not involved in the earlier proceedings. Some of you look familiar, and I know you were here, but we really can't be talking about whether or not this site is suitable at this point for the quick check. The only thing that can be considered this evening is whether or not the provided site plan satisfies all the necessary engineering standards and traffic standards that are employed by our ordinances and in the state of New Jersey under the municipal land use law. So although you may not have been happy that it was granted, it was granted, and that decision was not appealed by anybody. There was a 45-day appeal period within which anybody could have filed an appeal with the Superior Court of New Jersey. That did not happen. So the use is here, and it's just a question of whether or not the site plan should be approved. I will also state that the site plan that was provided in connection with the use variance was a rather comprehensive site plan. There have been some changes with respect to this, which I think the engineer testified to, but I don't want to belabor the point, but to contest the use this evening really is not something that should be questioned.
Good
With
evening,
that said, ma'am.
Hello.
State your name for the record, please.
Carol Pazamant, and it's long. Pazamant.
And your address, please?
34 Quince Place in North Brunswick.
Thank you.
And I'm also on the Environmental Commission.
Okay, thank you.
But I'm not going to beleaguer the topic that
And thank you for your service, by the way.
Thank you. Yeah, it's fine. I just have a few questions and a few comments. My first question is, what percentage, I don't know which of the witnesses to ask.
If you could just speak into the microphone.
I wasn't sure which of the witnesses to ask because there's so many. What percentage of the site is going to be developed versus undeveloped?
So I would, let me just check this. So the maximum impervious lot coverage on the bulk table, what's permitted is 50%. We are proposing 42.8% impervious coverage.
So 42.8% will be developed?
42% is being developed, 58% is
Not being
undeveloped.
Undeveloped.
With impervious coverage.
Okay, 58% is undeveloped.
Yes.
Okay, but that includes the pervious pavements? You consider?
No, that would, the 58%, that would be all the green space on site,
Okay.
so
Oh, that's very good.
it's in the rear of the property, the western side, and then the basin area as well.
I didn't really see the detail of the quote-unquote wetland.
Okay.
I know the DEP is requiring it, and I think that's great, but I have a little bit of a problem of where it's located. I think I would rather be in the back of the site, because with all these deer that are going to be displaced and running out into Route 130 to escape all the construction and everything like this, and everything else that currently lives there, it would be good to have a good habitat for them behind the Quick Check as opposed to the water site right on the corner of Nimitz and 130. Plus, that would get rid of your issue with cars driving into the water.
We want to maintain the buffer in the rear, and putting a depression in the back would eliminate the buffer in the back of the site with the existing trees and proposed trees as well. So that's why we're proposing in the southeast corner of the site.
Okay, because, it's going to be an attractant for wildlife, and I think you want to keep them away from the highway. And plus, I'm hoping, like Jonathan said, that it's got banks and not just steep walls. It doesn't.
We do have retaining walls along the perimeter of it. There are, a fence. There is a fence proposed along the perimeter as well, which we would provide for if there was a retaining wall or not, just for safety reasons.
So it's not really a wetland habitat. I mean, the animals can't access it then, really, except if you're a goose flying in.
There is a way to access the bottom of the basin, but yes, it's not a sloped side basin generally.
Is
There's
it
retaining
open? Or is that cut off too by a fence?
There is a gate, so it would be
Gate,
cut off.
So they're not going to open the gate?
No.
Okay, so this thing is basically just another sewer like you have by, on Route 1 by the BJ's and all these other things.
This is considered green infrastructure by the NJDEP. Those older basins or grass bottom have concrete everywhere. Like that's not what is being proposed here. There's low marsh zone, high marsh zone, permanent pool elevation, and all types of plantings in there.
But does the wildlife have access?
I mean, a bird can fly in there, sure.
Well, that's not really enough, because there are other animals there besides birds, and you're going to have a lot fewer birds since you're knocking down all the trees that you're knocking down.
I don't want to interrupt, but
Yeah.
I have to keep closer to the 5 minutes, so if there's another question that you had.
Just one other point. I think the building, especially the canopy, begs for solar. Wouldn't that be a good idea?
What was the question?
What was it? I didn't hear your question.
If there's no room on the building roof itself, the canopy begs for solar. That would be a good way to light some of the things.
QuickCheck has looked into doing solar on multiple projects, and it honestly doesn't work or not work, but provide that much of a benefit for the project. So
It wouldn't save your electricity bill a little bit?
By the way, that's really a voluntary decision by the applicant if they want to
know.
install it, so, yeah.
Yeah, I know, it's not a requirement, but, okay. Well,
I
thank
mean,
you.
our architect can answer the question about solar.
Hold on, sir. Did you want to make a comment?
Sure, just to tag on to what Mr. Kunzman said in regards to putting it on the building. We previously mentioned in our testimony that the actual roof surface is much lower than the parapet due to screening all of the rooftop equipment. It's on average at least 6 feet higher. That parapet wall needs to be braced back at an angle to the main roof. So around the perimeter of the building, that bracing takes up a significant amount of roof square footage. Additionally, with all the rooftop equipment up there, off the top of my head, I can't give you an exact number, but 3 HVAC units, 2 condensers, 3 or 4 exhaust fans, 5 or 6 plumbing vents, et cetera, et cetera. That's not all spaced in one area of the roof. It's spread out because it has to serve different areas of the building. That makes it very difficult to place solar panels and get a decent amount of them and actually have the sun hit them given the high parapet screening. We've looked at this in the past for QuickCheck. In regards to the fuel canopy itself, the canopy itself is only 3 foot high. The majority of that is structure to hold up the canopy, so the solar panels will literally sit on top of the canopy angled, and that's not something QuickCheck is looking to do at this point in time. You're welcome.
Could I just say one other thing about the traffic? And then I'll shut up. I'm wondering if cars going south on 130 could turn into the first entrance by the canopy and all that stuff, and then come out the other end on the southwest, whatever that is on the left, by Washington Place, and basically use it as like a clover leaf.
So physically, the movement could be performed. Is that the fastest or quickest movement? Not likely, especially with traffic activity on the site itself. But just the layout and the orientation of the site, that is a physical thing that a driver could do.
Thank you. Good evening, sir.
Sir, just state your name for the record, spell your last name and your address.
Okay, my name is Jeffrey Wren, W-R-E-N, just like the bird, 10 Silver Hollow.
Thank you,
I
sir.
have a question about the traffic pattern. It's bad enough trying to get out of Silver Hollow onto 130, 7 o'clock in the morning. It's a parking lot. From 2 o'clock in the afternoon on, the same thing exists. There's a bigger problem if you're coming up Washington Place to Route 130. You can stop at the traffic light, whether you want to turn right or you want to turn left, depending on the reflexes of the first car that's at that intersection. Possibly 4 cars get through. If the person at that the first person in line is slow on the reflex, only 3 cars get through. I've counted this many, many times. Many times. And it's going to create a bigger problem if people from Washington Place are going to be able to go across Route 130 into the Quick Check parking lot, which was part of the original plan. I understand that. And I'm not trying to change that. I'm just trying to point something out that it's impossible to avoid a bigger traffic jam on Washington Place because of traffic on Route 130 and the timing of that traffic light, the way it is now. Once the traffic comes out of Quick Check, you're going to have 4-way entrance onto that traffic light instead of 3-way.
Is there any, do you know, I was going to ask this question to your point, sir. Is the lights going to be timed a little bit longer for green and red lights? Or, because I am aware, and I have to agree, that that's a very quick turning light coming from Washington onto 130. It's so quick. So is there any way that you could talk to traffic to extend maybe the length of the lights coming out of Washington, out of Quick Check? You know, because they're fast. I mean, you're talking 2 or 3 cars and then that's it.
Yep, so as I testified to before, this project does include a full traffic signal rebuild. You know, the upgrades that will be made to the traffic signal will afford more time to those, you know, to Washington Place, to Quick Check, you know, part of that being the increase in volume using, especially on the Quick Check side, being a 4th leg. So yes, it is something that is going to be implemented essentially as part of our full application.
Yeah, Mr. Wren, that's what we thought. We discussed that before, so hopefully transportation will take a look at those lights and maybe see if they could be extended.
Yeah, and hopefully the traffic's not going to back up on the southbound side where you can't get out.
Right.
You know, so.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Next.
Good evening. Ken Flug, 407 Sherman Road. P as in Peter, F-L-U-G.
Thank you, sir.
My questions are really, I think, for the traffic. And before I ask my question, can I just take a closer look? My eyes aren't as good as they used to be.
That's okay.
Oh, okay, so that's not a photograph, that's a drawing.
I'm sorry?
That's not a photograph, that's a drawing.
That's a site plan.
That's the site plan.
Site plan? Because I counted the cars, there's only 1 car going north, and there's only 5 cars going south.
It's just a site plan.
I thought it was my eyes, it's not
We
my
can take
eyes.
judicial notice, there's more than 1 car.
I see.
Yeah, it's a site
And,
plan, but it does feature an aerial image. Now, is that aerial taken during rush hour? Probably not.
Probably not.
Probably not. So, you know, that was the condition at whatever time this aerial photo was taken, but that's not the basis of our
Could have been
traffic
on a
study.
Sunday morning.
No, I come down out of Independence, and I make that left turn several times a week, and even several times during the day, because I go into that Lady of Peace Church. Not for religious reasons. I do financial work for them. So, but anyways, so my question is this: is that, and we all know the traffic going north and south throughout the day, and I'm surprised that, and this is really with regard to the State Department of Transportation. I'm surprised that they left the intersection as is. In other words, we're just changing a modification to the current traffic lights in terms of timing. And we're adding an additional traffic light on the side of Quick Check, the entrance and exit. I'm surprised they didn't close off the roadway just south of that intersection where, you know, the churchgoers come out and make a left turn on 130, because what I notice in the afternoon, coming north, if you stop at that intersection coming north and it's a red light, it backs up beyond that first break. So I try to be a nice driver, and if I see someone coming across and they're sitting there, I stop and I let them come in, because often I'll block them. And the tail of their car is on the main roadway coming south. So it's kind of a dangerous spot for someone to cross and sit there. So I'm surprised that's still going to be there, because I'd rather see the people coming out of Lady of Peace Church actually come out, the back entrance, and actually have to use the light, or just pull out and go north. The idea of crossing over either way, I think, is problematic. And that whole intersection, I don't really get a clear picture without seeing the other two gas stations, because you got cars coming in and out is there as well. So when I just look at that, and it sounds like not significant modifications, like, not putting in a jug handle or something like that, you got a lot of stuff going on at that intersection. And the trucks and the cars right now, there's actually a speed limit between Raider Road and Independence, 45 miles an hour. Because back then, when they put the light in at Independence, there was an objection. And one resident, I don't know how many years ago, but it's going back quite a few years, he said, 130 is a country road. We don't need a light. Right. They didn't even want the light there. So, oh, my God. But anyways, they come through going south and north, because there's quite a few distance between the light at Independence or Raider Road and this intersection, that cars on average are doing about 60 miles an hour. And since the last time we met, which was on Zoom, between that time and now, the traffic, there's a lot of crazy drivers out there.
I agree.
It's a bad intersection to begin with, but it sounds like the only thing we're doing is changing the timing. So my question is, which way, is it north or south, that's going to sit at that traffic light longer than they do now?
I think, just for the purposes of the discussion, so we all understand that the current, and correct me if I'm wrong, but the current light is still going to be there. The three major changes, from what we understand, or I understand as the board, is one of three. The first one is going to be, if you're heading north on 130, you can now make a left into Quick Check. That's the first thing. So that there'll be now a left-hand turn lane. The second is that heading southbound, making a left onto Washington or heading south, that left-hand lane is going to be a little bit extended. So it's going to be extended halfway up. I think you said another 50 feet or something like that. The third difference is that instead of only making a left or a right from Washington onto 130, now cars can go straight. So besides that, those three changes are going to be the difference. I don't think there's going to be major differences outside of that, what's currently the still situation. I think that the point that most people that had a concern back in 22 and 23 was more for the church. And I think the applicant showed that that left-hand turn lane into Quick Check would suffice, that it would not impact the Our Lady of Peace parishioners that are leaving mostly on a Saturday night or Sunday morning. Am I correct? I don't want to misspeak, but is that a fair analysis?
Yes.
Okay. And one of my last questions, with regard to the state approval, I assume that they did their own traffic study and they carefully looked at this intersection. But I think a mention was made earlier, before the application was approved, that Quick Check was going to pay for all of these changes at this intersection.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
So if the state had come back and said, well, you know what, we're going to have to widen the road, we're going to have to do this or whatever, and it was extensive changes made, a jug handle put in or whatever, Quick Check was going to pay for that as well? Or was that even thought about ahead of time? I mean, it's a non-issue, so maybe the question is not relevant. So,
I mean, I appreciate your comments, but I think that the applicant has already said that they're going to take care of the the expenses associated with changing whatever they need to.
All right, my final question is, talking about traffic, I don't know, quick check, do they allow DoorDash pickups?
I'm sorry?
DoorDash pickups?
Oh, I don't,
I'm not sure, Stuart, if that's a question.
Oh, they do, so there could be additional traffic, not from the area that are, you know, on the job, so to speak, and going in there as well.
Well, again, Mr. Flug,
And what about air?
Mr. Flug, with respect to that issue, they have satisfied the parking requirements for this site, so that's a non-issue.
I was just thinking of the traffic. And then the other thing, the last question is on, you're going to provide air and vacuum service for cars?
Yes, there are 2 spaces toward the easterly side of the site.
So there'll be two facilities there on the site?
Yep, within the bank of parking next to the basin area, there's a air pump and vacuum setup that serves 2 spaces.
Okay, that's it. That's my questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. Ma'am, good evening.
My name is Sharon Fitzpatrick.
Your address, ma'am?
Sharon, Sharon. I live at 454 Taylor Place.
Okay.
My concern is with the drainage, is that basin supposed to catch the runoff from, you know, when we get the storms? Since climate change, we have heavier rains now, and with the current situation, the way it is with the trees tend to absorb the water, but the water does run off into the backyards of a few of our backyards on the west side of the property. So if you're taking out a considerable amount of trees and you put in nothing but hardscape, where's the water going to run off to? Because my house is the only house with the drain, and I'm servicing like 4 houses, so my backyard typically gets flooded. And I guess the runoff is my neighbor, and all our properties are flooded back there, but I'm the only house with the 1 drain. So I will be getting the brunt of the runoff from the gas station as well.
Sure. So we are considered a major development by the DEP, so we are required to meet water quantity standards. So to answer your first part about the storm intensities, we are, or we have designed this basin in the porous pavement areas to detain the year 2100, so the DEP projected rainfall intensities for the year 2100, and this basin can handle the 100-year storm for that that year, 2100. So it's future projections. So we are reducing the peak runoff on the site for that storm by 20%. So there's 20% less runoff leaving the proposed development by proposing this basin on the site, because it's holding back the water and letting it out slowly.
So it's just 20% that you're going to be capturing?
No, I'm capturing 100% of the proposed, approximately 100% of the proposed impervious being captured on the site, being routed to this basin or going to this basin.
Okay.
And then the amount of runoff as a total for the whole entire project. So if you look at the runoff on existing conditions for the inside the property line versus the proposed conditions inside the property line, it's 20% less water leaving the site.
Okay. I'll keep your number on file when my backyard gets more water than it's.
So if you can just comment on that, do you believe that with that basin, that it will help the residents with any kind of buildup of water in their backyards? Will there be an improvement with their properties, or would it stay the same?
Yeah, so in addition, we are reducing the amount of water, so it should improve. And then additionally, there is a storm easement going through that I believe conveys the water from the neighborhood. Some of this is actually back-pitched pipe on the site. We are also fixing that issue.
Right. I remember, and that's why I asked, because I remember we had this discussion also, that pipe that runs from Taylor and McKinley straight towards 130, you mentioned, or somebody mentioned, that pipe was going to be fixed to help with flooding in that area?
Correct.
Okay.
And Mr.
So, ma'am, to your point, I think that based on their improvement of the pipe that goes underneath, you should see improvement of water retention than making it worse.
Mr. Chairman, if I could just add something as well. Since this was approved in 2022, I believe it was in 2024, the state adopted much more stringent stormwater management regulations, probably in light of the fact of climate change and issues that were arising in New Jersey. So if this project had received preliminary and final approval in 2022, there would have been less stringent stormwater management practices and facilities employed in this project. Under today's standards, they're much more stringent. I think you indicated earlier that you're utilizing porous pavement, which was not being utilized, or at least was not being utilized as extensively when you made the presentation in 2020 and 2021 and 2022. So what that means is a lot of the stormwater actually drains through the parking lot and then recharges underneath the parking lot. So the world, at least from a stormwater management situation, has changed dramatically since this received use variance
3 years
approval in
ago.
20. Right, exactly.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening. Marvin Fitzpatrick, 454 Taylor Place,
The other half.
Fitzpatrick. My concern is with traffic also. It's the traffic through the neighborhood. The, I guess, access to the back of the facility is only a right-hand turn from Nimitz Place, which
Right-hand
means that all the deliveries, or not all, but there will be deliveries coming through the residential neighborhood.
So, I mean,
Deliveries will be limited to the Route 130 entrances and exits. They will not be using Nimitz Place or coming through the neighborhood to make deliveries to the site.
So no deliveries through the neighborhood. Okay, thank you.
you're welcome. And also remember, sir, that's why I asked, sir, the reason why it's okay, I just wanted to make clear, that was another reason why I asked that I don't want to have cars, deliveries, anything to make a right-hand turn onto Nimitz and a left into the property. So that's why I wanted to make it very clear that everything that is coming, most of the people should be coming in on the 130 side. So Nimitz Place should not be affected at all.
Okay, well, thank you. But I also have one more question. Since deliveries won't be coming through the neighborhood, the traffic, I guess, coming down 130 is definitely going to back up. And even with the extended left turn lane, that's going to make it almost impossible to come out of Nimitz Place to make that left turn or that U-turn.
Yeah, we talked about that. I don't know how much it's going to change that now versus when it's built, because it's still very difficult to make a turn out of that area.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, can I just, by a show of hands, is there anybody else who wants to speak after this gentleman? Or have we, okay, just one more? Okay, because I know it's getting late and everyone's got to get to work tomorrow, so I just want to get an idea. Go ahead, sir.
No problem. You're leaving the last two for the actual residents to live right there on McKinley.
Just for the record, your name and address.
No problem. So my name is Terry Perry, Perry for clarity, and I live at 1687 McKinley. So I really have two main comments that I wanted to kind of get a pulse on and get everyone's opinion on. First one being the hours that is going to be open, right? So it's only, please correct me if I'm wrong, the closing hours is between 1 and 5 a.m.?
Yes.
Is that correct? All right. So my question is, was there any thought into why is it open so late? Because specifically, if we talk about the BP that's right across the street, if we talk about the shop right down the road, these retail spaces are closing at 10 and 11 p.m. So why is there any reason why this should be open for an additional 2 hours when typically everyone is home or within their own space?
Originally they were going to be a
24-hour.
24/7 operation. And it was at the use variance hearing, probably one of the earlier hearings, where the board expressed concern that it shouldn't be 24/7, and that's when they agreed upon these hours.
Gotcha, okay.
I
So
think-
all that was discussed before my time here, because I'm a recent resident.
And I think also, and I don't want to misspeak, but I think that it was also first responders that are, and DP, different construction, that they would want them to be open a little bit more. I feel like there was testimony from residents or people that came that asked about keeping it open a little bit longer for people that were working later at night to come and grab something to eat or get a cup of coffee. So we extended it we decided that it was 1 o'clock in the morning, which would be what the agreed upon was.
Okay. All right, so that brings me to my second point. So over there on Nimitz, so I'm someone that frequently takes that street. Now, one thing I can say, with the addition of that opening on that side, my real big concern is how are you going to regulate people from missing that turn, right? Because there's only a right in, you can't make a left if you're coming off of 130 going south. How are you going to regulate that? Because one thing that I've noticed more than once is someone make that turn and then they stop and they try to do a K-turn in the middle of the street. So what's preventing more traffic that's now taking that turn, notice that they can't make a left into the quick check, now go proceed to do the same thing, but on a more regular basis, because now the only one that really takes that turn is someone that lives in one of the streets or visiting someone that's
Right.
located.
I mean, I think there was testimony from the traffic engineer that there's going to be, I mean, I'll use the technical term, a bullnose island there, which will make it extremely difficult for somebody to make a left turn. Now, you're right, somebody could mistakenly try to make that left turn, realize they can't do it, then they're going to make a K-turn. That's
Which is
just,
what I-
that's human nature. I mean, hopefully, people will realize, that they won't be able to get in there. Honestly, people traveling south on Route 130 aren't going to go and make a right on Nimitz to get into this site. They're going to get in the quickest way, which is to come off of Route 130, so.
Yeah, I mean, most people, knowing that there's two entrances on 130, is not going to make, right, to Larry's point, is not going to make a right to make a left. They're just going to get off at 130.
So why do we have that one in general? Like, why do we have that opening on Nimitz
on
in
Nimitz?
general? Yeah.
Well, I think,
Because you have two openings on 130, right?
But yeah,
One
I think
before
we
the light
just-
and one at the light?
I think we also discussed that, first of all, ideally for police, fire, EMS, it would be always good to have an entrance coming in off of 130. And secondly, we also discussed for all the residents in your neighborhood that would want to come to Quick Check, now you're going to have to go out to Adams Lane to go to 130 to come back into the property. And you're now going to restrict them from not going to Quick Check via your neighborhood.
Maybe I'm mistaken. Do you mind if I approach?
Please.
So just for clarity.
Just hold this, sit on the chair.
Here's the opening here off of Washington, correct?
Right.
And then there's another opening here.
Correct.
And then there's the third opening here.
That's the only entrance, not exit.
Only entrance, right? So if this was technically closed off, they would just still go on to 130 before the light and just could also turn in. So
Yeah,
it wouldn't be as if they would need to go down to make a left. They would still technically come this way and would still go into this entrance. Because they can't exit back out the same way they came in anyway. They would only can go in this way and still would have to exit right back out.
You're right. I apologize. They could have done that, right? I think somebody said, I think it was Mr. Pinto that said, take them out to Adams, make a left onto 130 and a left into Quick Check. But you do have a point for that.
Right, so to add on about the purpose of this driveway, what we're looking to do is not have the neighborhood traffic exacerbate any sort of queuing on Nimitz as they turn onto Route 130. We don't want Quick Check to impact that movement at all. So that is the reason for providing that entrance ahead of the intersection of Nimitz at 130, so that way we're not looking to minimize our impact to the neighborhood and neighborhood traffic as much as possible.
Perfectly understandable. My own concern is, are the risks now outweighing the benefits, right? Because the only one that's really going to take into this entrance is someone that's going to be local to this area, right? So if we do not have this, then we're eliminating one of the risks, right? And we would have a much greater benefit of someone, whether it may be hanging out here or whatever it could be, trying to make a K-turn into that.
Right, but you can't predict somebody still thinking there's an entrance onto Nimitz and still making that right. I mean, I guess it's we could discuss it all day, but it was approved in that opening, but I understand your point.
Go ahead.
All right, thank you, sir.
Eugene Vinar, Vinar, 1694 McKinley Avenue, one of the properties behind the proposed site. Two kind of questions. One, was a traffic light considered for the Nimitz and 130 intersection at all?
Short answer, no. Long answer, the volumes at Nimitz would not meet the federal thresholds to install a traffic signal. So even if we wanted to place a traffic signal there, we wouldn't meet the requirements published by the Federal Highway Administration within the Manual on Uniform Traffic Control Devices. So that's your technical long answer, but no, we cannot do a traffic signal there.
Okay. The other question is, I saw you guys are moving the storm easement around the quick check. Will construction need to happen on my property? The easement runs through my property or half of it?
No.
No? Thank you.
Does the illumination exceed the height of the illuminated signs exceed the sound barrier wall? Is it higher or is it lower? So will that light come across?
I don't know somebody wants to answer that.
I think any of us can answer that, but the height of the sign is 20 feet, the height of the wall is 18 feet, but the height of the building, the sign is in front of the building, and the building is, I think the parapet we said was 30 to the parapet. The height of the sign is less than the height of the building.
So you won't see the sign from, the building will shield that sign from any view on McKinley. Okay.
Did I answer your question, ma'am? Thank you. All right. I think Eugene said that he was the last one, so.
Make a motion to close the public portion.
Thank you, Jonathan. Can I get a second? Second. All right. Before we vote, I know Larry wants to just make a comment regarding Charlie's.
Just for Mr. Szymanowicz, Ron, I know you've had an opportunity to review Mr. Carley's report. I know there's a few things we have to discuss, but in terms of all of his technical recommendations, I'm assuming you can comply with them?
That's correct. We will comply.
Okay. And I think I noted from the outset that you want to talk about the timing of you're going to provide EV make-ready spaces, but then we need to know when they will be implemented and activated. So what were your thoughts about when that can be accomplished?
Our proposal is not to put any specific time frame on it. I think the thought is that we should be able to occupy at least under a TCO before those units are finalized, and we are willing to bond for the improvement to make sure it doesn't go by the wayside. But to the testimony given by Mr. Kimmel, we just don't know the timing. I mean, if we could just order this equipment and know that it's coming the next day, we could commit, but very hard to put a time frame on it.
Yeah, but I'm not sure we can leave that open-ended. I don't know. To our staff, any concerns or comments or suggestions?
What's the
I
board?
mean, is there, sorry, Charlie.
It's the board's decision ultimately, but ostensibly the ordering of the equipment can proceed relatively quickly. The lost leader in time on this project is going to be that intersection, right? I'm waiting on the tall guys to
They're coming up with a date.
to listen to me.
About correction, my witness corrected my mistake. It's not so much about buying and having the equipment delivered, and this makes sense to me. It's the utility company. It's getting JCP&L or PSC&G out there to do the work. It was suggested by my witness that perhaps a 2-year time frame might work with the right to come to you for extensions if we're in a hardship situation. but that would be our recommendation.
I think that's reasonable.
Yeah.
All right? Listen, I think you can get it done within 2 years.
So
we're pretty-
so the pumps aren't going to run on electricity? I understand there's a different load requirement, but they're pretty common in the year of our Lord 2025. But it's the board's decision and if you give them an abeyance of 2 years, I don't see any reason why that can't be accomplished.
We do a year.
Could we do 18 months?
Let's do 18 months.
18 months, and if you need an extension, that's fine. All right,
18 months with the right to request a
Yes.
reasonable
An
extension.
extension.
all right. And I think, Mr. Shemanowitz, the other thing, too, is you alluded to it. So if this board acts favorably, you would have 3 years. Your use variance expires October 18th of this year. That's a couple weeks away. So you would want that to run concurrently, obviously, with your site plan approval, I assume.
Yeah, and just to be very clear and forthright with the board, we're requesting both preliminary and final site plan approval. So it's a little squirrely. If you were to grant us preliminary approval, the land use law provides protective vesting for 3 years plus 2 one-year extensions. If you then thereafter went for final approval, just the opposite, you get 2 years plus 3 one-year extensions. Conceivably, you get 10 years. If the board were to grant us preliminary and final site plan, which we're seeking tonight, the land use law states that the final approval controls. So the land use law would grant protective vesting for the 2 years plus 3 one-year extensions. And that's what we're seeking. That's what we noticed for. I certainly hope that that's enough time. And if the 2 years expires, assuming there's an approval, and we're coming to you and we can show that we've proceeded diligently, we hope you would act favorably on an extension of that as well.
I'm just interested, if we approve this tonight, when would you expect to break ground?
That's a great question. Perhaps one of my witnesses.
Because I know many of the residents probably have been waiting since 2022. It's been 3 years already.
Right. I think to Mr. Carley's point, the DOT stuff is probably the lead time item.
But if you were, I'm not going to hold it up.
Yeah, Greg, if you,
We actually,
without prejudice, that your best idea.
so the longest lead item is the DOT permit, and what we did is they have a new program. It's the staff augmented, excuse me. Basically, it's like the LSRP program where you can have a third-party review instead of DOT directly. They make the recommendations. It's a much quicker process, and then DOT makes their final ruling. So if this permit would normally be 12 to 18 months, it's half that. So I'm hoping in 6 months to a year, we'll be starting construction.
All right.
So getting back to the issue then, if this board acts favorably this evening, first of all, he meets his deadline of October 18th.
Right.
Well, it's not an issue, but notwithstanding, that use variance would now be subsumed under the time period of the approval. But,
Right.
we'll see how the vote goes. It may not be necessary.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
All right, board. Thoughts? Looking for a motion to approve or deny? Thank you, Joe. Can I get a second, please?
I'll second.
Thank you, Matt. Roll call, please.
Yes.
Yes.
Ms. Millette? Yes. Mr. Decordata?
Yes.
Ms. Muslin? Yes. Mr. Wright?
Yes.
Mr. Hyman?
Yes, congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you
Appreciate
very
your
much.
time tonight.
Folks, thank you very much for being here tonight. I appreciate your patience. Can I get a motion to close the meeting? Thank you very much.